Back to square one. I don't know I'll find myself in this situation so soon.
I attempted to buy a crash damaged 2024 Porsche 911 Carrera S.
These guys just keep going. It's at 2 bars now.
The bidding amount of this Porsche ended up going way too high.
Yeah, no, mom, let it go. Let it go.
It's too much.
And my dreams of owning a Porsche slowly dwindled.
How do you feel about losing the Porsche today?
Yeah, that one is emotional. You know, that one is an emotional one for me. I really wanted that car.
Until I came across this, a 2019 Porsche Macan. From the images on the website, the car looks nearly perfect, but this Porsche came with a catch. According to the auction website, this car is water damaged. And even though I do have my own principles about buying water damaged cars, even without viewing it in person, I took the risk and bought it.
No, you got the Porsche! Yeah, I got it.
Buying a crash damaged car is a risk, but buying a car that when swimming drastically increases the risk. There is definitely so much that can go wrong in a water damaged car.
Oh, what the flip happened here?
And at the rate we're currently going on,
something happened here.
We really need some luck.
We are currently giving away our Maserati Gran Turismo naturally aspirated V8. Under HMPO, which is helping Mzansi people out. We are going to be building some technology rooms and some physical science laboratories in KZN, and we are going to take you along that journey. So if you would like to own the Maserati, entry is only 100 Rand, and you can click the link below for helpingmzansi.org, and you can buy yourself as many tickets as you want. Ticket sales are also limited, so first come, first serve. Good luck, bye-bye. So I just won the Porsche Macan. I don't want my cameraman to know. I want to surprise him with the car at the workshop. So I'm gonna collect the car very secretively and put it in the workshop, and then I'm gonna get his reaction when he sees it at the workshop. So I'm actually gonna delete this footage from my GoPro and put it on my phone so that he doesn't see it, because the GoPro is always with him. So yeah, I'm gonna catch his reaction when he sees this Porsche at the workshop. So guys, as you saw, I just bought the Porsche, another car that I did not check, but this one is even worse because I didn't even go to collect it. So I've just got some big faith in GOBID, mainly because the previous 2 sales with them was just so easy, and right now I'm going to see the Porsche for the first time. I'm so excited. So we're going to go check out the Porsche for the first time. The tow truck driver, I just saw him pull in. So yeah, just come with me quickly. Sorry, I'm panicking, yeah? And the reason why this car is coming so late, by the way, it's about 6 o'clock in the afternoon, it is because I want to surprise my cameraman. So yeah, I want to surprise my cameraman with this car. So I wanted it to arrive when he was not at the office. So the car just arrived. There it is over there. It looks super nice, super clean. I might have made the biggest mistake, or maybe the biggest luck. I didn't go check this car. I just read what GOBID wrote on the website as to what is wrong with the car, and I'm crossing my fingers because what they wrote on the GTR was true, and I didn't have any nasty surprises besides the accident damage. Same as well on the Kia as well. So we're gonna hope for the best on that Porsche. So they're about to put the Porsche into the workshop, and the reason why I want to surprise my cameraman with this car is because my cameraman gets the most excited anytime when he sees a new project car, and he even gets more excited than me. He's a very good big car fanatic. So yeah, I'm excited for him to see this tomorrow. Right guys, I got Shokut over here, camera boy. So there's some stuff to show him in the shop. So I want to get his POV reaction when he sees what progress we have made or what we have in store. I need you to close your eyes, yeah?
Close my eyes.
Yeah.
Is there really anything? What did you do?
I did some crazy stuff. Did something crazy.
My cameraman has no clue about the Porsche, and at this point he's even long forgotten about the Porsche that we actually lost. Right now he's under the impression that we are about to film some content for the Nissan GTR.
Okay, so close your eyes.
Alright, but what if I knock into something then?
No, you're not. You know the way.
Okay, I don't know. My eyes are closed.
Come there.
Right.
Come inside.
You sure I can't open my eyes?
No, come.
If I just continue straight?
Yeah, come.
Okay. Because
Now go straight there, straight forward.
really dark.
Go straight forward.
Alright, I'm walking straight forward.
Go.
Alright.
Go.
This is a prank, isn't it?
No. Okay, stop.
Alright.
Right, open.
No, you got the Porsche!
Yeah, I got
You
it.
got the Porsche!
Got it. Got it.
I thought you lost the car!
No, I got it.
No ways!
That's why I told you to leave early yesterday. I told you to leave early yesterday because I didn't want you to see this car coming in.
Guys, Mambo was bidding for this Porsche. Yes, not yesterday, like last week. And he lost it. That's what he told me. He told me he lost the car. What? Oh.
And there you have it, the Porsche Macan, one of the most iconic vehicles in the class of luxury SUVs. Well, that's in my books.
Alright guys, so I got this storm damaged 2019 Porsche Macan from an auction. From GOBID to be precise as well. So this is our third buy from GOBID. I think I might need to get some like counseling or something because I'm starting to be addicted with the auctions. But it did put a smile on my face when I won this car. So right behind me is the Porsche Macan 2019, and it is black. So the Macan, one thing I actually like about it is that I think it's got the EA888 engines, and those are some of my favorite engines to work on. I've done plenty of those, from Golf 8s to Golf 7s to Audis as well. So if the engine is damaged on this car, we will be able to fix it, and I know it won't cost us that much as well. I just hope and pray that the issue is only maybe the engine, but since it is water damaged, we could have some damaged electronics.
That's right. This Porsche Macan is powered by the Volkswagen EA888 turbo 4-cylinder engine, which I am all too familiar with.
We're gonna fetch a non-runner Golf 8 GTI, and we're gonna be rebuilding one. Why are these Golf 7 GTI engines failing? So let's check out this Porsche and see what we have gotten ourselves into. So this is my first time ever being so close to a Porsche Macan. Also my first time touching the Porsche Macan because they delivered this car yesterday and they also dropped off the key. But unlike the GTR and the Kia Cerato, I wasn't so lucky. I only got one key. So we only have one key for the Porsche Macan, which means there is no spare key for us. So let's go around and let's check this car. One thing I did see though is that the key works, because if you press, it locks and it unlocks as well, which is good. That means it's got a good battery.
We don't know for certain how deep in the water the Porsche was submerged. However, the mud can give us a little bit of a clue.
If you look at this Porsche, you can actually see that like there was a lot of water. I think maybe up until here that the car went into, because you can see all of the sand that it was like maybe like sitting in a lot of water. You can see if you look at here. Soon we're also gonna open the engine compartment and see how bad it is in there, because that's also something I haven't done. This car, I didn't go to inspect it when I before bidding for it. I just saw a Porsche and it was going at a really low price. One thing I also noticed about this car, it has got some insane big tires. And if I know anything about fat tires, it is because of comfort and being able to absorb as much shock and impact as possible. So I can't wait to drive this car in absolutely rugged terrain, the same terrain that I test drove our Golf 7 GTI in. So this car will be definitely as well taking it on a long drive to KZN as well. Comment down below and let me know if you would like to see that trip with the Porsche. We're gonna be going through this car together, guys. It's my first time owning a Porsche, so I'm really excited. I'm just like a little fanboy. After losing the Porsche 911 Carrera S, this does feel like a redemption, and I don't know, it feels like I don't know what it is. Maybe this is like a blessing in disguise for us. Maybe like we'll check this car and there's maybe nothing wrong with it, so we'll give it a try and see. Let's go around the car and see what else we have in store with this vehicle. So it's an all blacked out Porsche Macan. It's a nice car. I would say that this is more of a ladies car. I don't know, comment down below, let me know. But I'd say it's more of a ladies car, and then the GTS is for the men. But me, I don't care right now. I'm gonna be in a Porsche truck. So the one thing I like about these new Porsches is the rear tail light. I think the 911s are also like that, the new 911s. The diffuser on this car doesn't look so sporty. It is a Macan anyway, but the diffuser doesn't look so sporty. It only has 2 pipes as opposed to 4, just like the GTS's. So this one only has about 2 pipes, and then the really boring diffuser. So at least this car is not missing any tow hook covers. And anytime you buy a car from a scrapyard, it's always missing the tow hook covers, because as it's being towed around, what happens is they lose the covers as well, right? So it's understandable as well. They're dealing with 1,000 cars in a day. You can't hold them liable for that. This marks the run around tour of this Porsche Macan. So what we'll actually do now is check the interior of this car. I'm excited to check this blacked out interior on this car. So let's check it out together. To open it first. Okay, let's first see if all of the doors open. All right, rear door opens. So if you look at the rear door as well, it also shows the signs of the water. The water does look like it went up to the seals of the door. So what we'll also have to do is to maybe smell the carpets and see if water came inside of the car. I'm just hoping that the modules are good on this car, because one thing I know about Porsches is that they've got a lot of electronic modules. Please, I'm praying to the Porsche gods.
And just to show you how expensive repairing electronics on a Porsche can be, here's how much a new wiring loom costs.
Now we're praying to the Porsche gods. Can this be a lock? I think we do need a lock, Shokut.
Yeah, we need one.
We haven't gotten a lock in a very long time. All right, so this door opens. Let's check out the driver's door. Ooh, how's that sound?
Quality.
Quality. Ooh. So, ooh, it does stink. So I think maybe the carpets inside I think the carpets inside might have gotten a little bit wet, because yeah, I can smell that what's that when there's like
damp smell.
That damp smell. It smells like mold. But it doesn't smell so moldy, it also smells like new. So yeah, let's check out the interior on this car. Let's jump inside and see what's the story. Currently sitting in the Porsche, and the seats are actually nice, and I think I was also wrong about the smell of the car. It actually has that like new car smell. Am I wrong?
No, it smells good.
Yeah, it smells good. It's got that like new car smell. I think I'm just not used to like premium cars. The premium side. Yeah, we're in the premium side now. And like looking at the interior of this Porsche, it is so nice. It's got so many buttons, and that's like, if you know me and you've been watching my videos, I love my buttons in a car. I like this. It feels like a cockpit of a aeroplane. You can just press like a lot of buttons, like ready for lift-off, you know, just like pressing all of these knobs. So yeah, it's definitely I would say a parent's nightmare, having a car if the child's going to be sitting in the front and there's like so many buttons to press. They'll be playing around with the car. So the interior is like very nice, and it's got suede and leather seats. So it having suede and leather seats, like, what is this fabric? Is this Alcantara?
I think so.
Let me know down in the comments, what is this suede? I think it is maybe Alcantara, the way it looks so nice and so premium. So yeah, so we also have got like a very nice and fat screen on the car. So I'm sure that it's got a navigating system, this car. Let me have a look. Yeah, it's got a navigation button. So we're just gonna try and switch it on for now and see if it does switch on for the first time. But I'm pretty much happy with the interior of this car. It's very nice, it's very luxurious, and it feels like very premium as well, and executive. I'm finally in the driver's seat of this Porsche, and the one thing that I have seen is that on this Porsche, the driver's side is got an electric seat, so I can actually adjust it. Like, I'm currently going forward, I can adjust it with the button on the side, and then on the passenger side it's got a manual seat. But my cameraman just told me that when you buy these cars, you can actually add all of the extras. So I guess the previous owner of this vehicle only made the driver's seat to be electronic. So without further ado, let's switch this car on, check how much mileage it's got. I'd expect for these cars at least to have like a start stop, you know, to have a start stop. So you actually just like put it in caveman style. All right, so the moment you put in the key, you can hear, that's without even like turning the ignition on, the ambient lighting comes on. Without even turning the ignition on, the ambient lighting comes on, and then the fuel pump primes in the back, because I heard the fuel pump priming. So we're gonna switch it on for now. All right, so okay, oh, so that ping noise you keep hearing is all of the faults. So you've got an all-wheel drive function fault, oil level below minimum, refill now. So the oil level might be drained because maybe they tried to fix this car because it was hydrolocked or something, since it was in water. So with this car, I really do not know what we could find wrong. But for now, I just want to test some of the electronics in the car and forget about what could be wrong. We're going to check that next. Right, so our cluster comes on, and surprisingly, this car has got 81,667 kilometers. That is very low. Not lower than the GTR, but very low. A car that's under 100,000 kilometers in my books as a brand new car, man. So yeah, we got our ignition on. Good thing is we are getting our engine light, which means, yo, these what is this, warnings are just like driving me nuts. They're just making me panic. So the good thing about this car is that we have the engine light. So if you have an engine light and it's coming on while your ignition is on, that means that the engine and the control modules and the computer box are all communicating together. If your engine light is flashing while your ignition is on, or it's not coming on at all, there's probably a problem with your engine control module, that is your computer box. So we are actually in the clear in terms of the computer box, I think, for now. That's if we don't have water damage. So yeah, we've got some mileage. I think let's test out the radio now. So turning on the radio, I don't know how. Maybe we'll just press this knob. Okay, doesn't work. This knob, that one also doesn't work. So let's try switching it off and on again, and then let's, okay, there it is. So you're getting a nice like Porsche sign. All right, starting navigation. but I want to see if the radio, all right, so the radio work. Okay, so it just cuts out. After cutting out, it doesn't want to switch back on. So the reason why I'm not cranking this car is because I do not know if the engine maybe is hydrolocked or whatever. We need to put it on the ramp first and see. Okay, so the radio is working. Let's hear the music. Okay, so for whatever reason, this radio just like cuts out randomly. It did say that there is battery discharge. That could be because, I don't know, maybe running low. I really hope that's the issue, because the infotainment on this car, I'm pretty sure, will cost you like close to about 100,000 rand if it is faulty. So yeah, it looks like our radio is working for now. I think we're going to test our electronic handbrake and see if that releases. Yeah, so that noise you just heard was the electronic parking brake release. Let's engage it. Alright, so the parking brake is something we don't have to worry about. That is working. The most important thing, the horn. Alright, looks like we've got no horn. Let's try and switch it off and on again. Alright, it works. But it's so soft. I think it might be contaminated with like water and some like sand and stuff, so we'll check that out. But at least the horn works. And the hazards also work as well. So it looks like most of the interior electronics work for now. So now we're actually going to check the engine compartment of this car, see the engine side of the vehicle, and maybe try and turn the engine with the wrench first before we attempt to start this car up. So what we'll actually do before checking this car and trying to start it up, we will first get the car washed and see this car in its like proper glory. So we're gonna get this car washed properly. Let's get this car outside. All right, so before we get this car washed, I think I want to see if the headlights work on this car. So we'll just switch it on again and then switch on the headlights to see if they do come on. I'm just hoping maybe the xenon modules aren't damaged on this car. So okay, it's on auto. Let's put it on high beam, and then we'll have to take a walk outside and see if it's working. So let's switch on high beam. All right, high beam doesn't seem to work. It only works if you pull it back. That's why we're getting that like blue light over there. But if you push it forward, it's not coming on. Let's go and see if the lights are working outside. All right, let's check out these headlights and see. All right, it looks like they are working, which is good. So the right hand side is working, left hand side is working, and the lower fogs as well seem to be working. Let's go check out the back. I think this car maybe might start, like it's ready. It looks like it might look like it might be like a starter. This is what I was talking about. Just look at how amazing the rear light looks. It looks like a space shuttle, my guy. Look at this. It goes all the way from this side to the right hand side. I think this just looks beautiful. Comment down below, let me know what you think about the rear light. Am I right in saying that these models look more nicer than the older models that aren't all the way from one side to the other side? This looks nice, and let's push this car outside. After pushing it outside and getting it cleaned up, let us check what could be the wrong with this vehicle. Why was it regarded as a non-runner? But I think before we do that, we haven't checked the boot. We haven't checked the boot on this car. I don't see a button to press. If you know where the button is to press the boot to open, let me know. Unless only the button inside works. But we're gonna attempt to open it with the key for now. All right. Oh, it's even got an electric boot. Cool. So the boot works just fine. The electronic shocks as well work just fine, which is good in my books. So what do we have in the back? Let's check that out. All right, so there was a container of oil in the boot of this car. So I don't know if maybe that is because of the car having an oil leak. I did say that when I switched on the car, it did say that it was low on oil. Either this car's got oil consumption or it's got an oil leak. Either one of the two, I'm not excited to find out which is which.
Let's get this Porsche all cleaned up and make sure we remove all of the dust and the grime from the car. With some help from my trusty workshop technician, we pushed this Porsche Macan out of the workshop. And in the sun, you can tell just how dirty and muddy this Porsche is. And it doesn't help with the car being black. First things first, I'm going to start off by rinsing the car off with a bucket of water and then working my way to the rear to ensure that I don't scratch the car. A bucket will just have to do since we don't have a hose pipe. After the nice rinse, we had to apply some soap to effectively clean all of the mud and the dirt. And next, we have to rinse off the car wash soap on the vehicle. Now that the car is nice and rinsed, we can dry the car off with our microfiber cloth. The car wash we done is nothing professional, but the car is definitely looking much better than when we received it. And now I'm actually more excited to work on the car than before. I just hope we didn't encounter a new lemon. And in case you're about to purchase a car and have a fear that you might encounter a lemon, you could just use Car Vertical.
If you're just like me and you love cars or you own a car, make sure to use our promo code, which is Mambo20 on your next purchase. Car Vertical is a platform that allows you to get the full history of the vehicle next time you're thinking of doing a purchase. Car Vertical has made history checking and background checks of a vehicle very easy by simply typing in the VIN number on the search bar of the Car Vertical platform. You can get more or less the full history of the vehicle. You can see if the mileage has been tampered with. You can also see if the vehicle has been involved in any accident or storm damage. With that said, guys, you can also take full advantage of Car Vertical's user-friendly platform and use our promo code, which is Mambo20, to get a 20% discount on your next Car Vertical check. Buy smart, use Car Vertical. All right, this is the best we can do for the Porsche. It's really hot outside. I think it does need like a professional wash or a professional detail. If you'd like to sponsor a detail and us introduce you to our audience, comment down below, let's collab, or check the link in the description or our email in the description, and you can email our social media manager and you can collab.
Now that the car is all dry, we can push it back to the workshop and inspect what damage did the storm actually cause. I'm really hoping it's nothing major, since most of the electronics right now are working. Since this car is a non-runner, I had to get some of my technicians to help me push the car back into the workshop. But first, I asked them what engine they thought was in this Porsche.
V10.
V10. When I started, what engine you think it has? V8 or V6. Why? Because it's a big car. What if I said it's got a Golf 7 engine? Look, I'll show them something. Oh la la, open the system.
This is crime.
Golf 7 engine. Same one.
Same.
Need to fix it.
There's a lot of space here for
They could not believe that the Porsche had the same engine as the Golf 7 GTI. Now it was time to get the car into the workshop.
I'm the only manpower here.
Go. You see when I stop, it stops.
With the help of my technicians, we got the car safely into the ramp. And now I can thoroughly assess what is wrong with this Porsche Macan.
Looking at this engine, I think the easiest way to remove the engine would be to first remove this bonnet, removing the bell housing bolts, and then removing all of the wiring. Maybe remove the fans as well, just so that we have a little bit of space in the front, and then just push it forward a little bit so that it comes out of the gearbox. Once it's out of the gearbox, just lift it up. I don't know. Comment down below, let me know what you think. Is it better to remove it from the front from the top or from the underneath.
So Mambo, why did you buy another car from GOBID?
So this is actually the third car that we've bought now from GOBID. I think as I've arrived in Joburg, the service at GOBID is quite different. It's much easier to bid there. It's also more convenient. So I'm actually also very new in Joburg. One thing I've noticed is how flooded the registration offices, the licensing offices get full here in Joburg. So I saw that it was such a drag when we had to do change of ownership with the Aston Martin. And GOBID actually does change of ownership for you when you buy a car from them. So they courier the new logbook to you with the logbook already in your name, and all you have to do now is to just send the car for COR once you're done repairing it, and then you get your new disc from the postal office or wherever you get discs from nowadays. So yeah, I went with GOBID because it's quite easy. They make the whole process not to be like really annoying and just a waste of time. So you can just basically bid from the comfort of your own office, and once you're done bidding, if you're happy with the car, have checked the car, you can just go pick it up and you have your own fleet of cars. So yeah, it's quite refreshing to bid from GOBID. Yeah, I enjoy it. It's like very convenient, and I also like the fact that you don't have to hold long queues when you're going to pick up your car. Because when we went to pick up the GTR, it was like such a breeze. We just went in there, came with the release note and our driver's license, gave it to the ladies at the front. They gave us the keys, and we were out of there. So it's actually very like it's so easy. It's bidding made easy. GOBID. There's something I noticed while I opened the bonnet when I was showing my technicians the engine on this car. It was missing 2 coil packs. So I don't know if after this car was in the water, since it's storm damaged, if this car was like hydrolocked and they removed the coil packs as well as the spark plugs to see if there's water and try and relieve all of the water. But what I'm gonna actually do right now is pick up the car and then try and turn the engine and hope for the best.
I got the car jacked up, and as I wanted to check the undercarriage, I saw something that definitely did not look right.
Oh, what the flip happened here?
What the hell?
What could have like... Ew. What could have happened here? Maybe it's just the thing that's like pressed in. There's no damage underneath. I hope so.
What do you feel?
Look, like there's like a big bulge in the bottom. Let's see if we can pull it out. Well, I can't pull it out. There's something that goes here. We're gonna have to remove this cover later on and inspect what's going on here, but this does not look good. I can only hope that maybe because it's, I don't know what I can hope for, because I do not understand what could have like pressed this in so much.
The damage caused on the undercarriage near the rear wheel is something I cannot explain how it happened. But I'm thinking maybe it could have been damaged during the moving around with the forklift. But I cannot know for certain. At the auction houses, they tend to use forklifts when moving cars, but this is an issue that cannot be avoided. Vehicles have to be moved to their designated locations. Whilst under the car, I saw another red flag.
Something happened here, or something is going on here. Like, this makes absolutely no sense. This is gonna melt when the car's running. Like, what? Oh, we might be in trouble on this one. We might just be in trouble on this car, but we will have to see.
The dent and the cable tie on the exhaust did make me worry a little bit.
It doesn't look so bad besides this cable tie for now.
But now it's time to remove the undercover so we can try and turn this engine. After I took the 9 cover bolts off, I noticed something really concerning.
So if we look right there, the starter bolt is not sitting in its like place. So this will be our starter bolt right there. Just look there.
right? So here's a light. So you can see that it's like out of its dowel hole. So I'm guessing that the starter might be damaged. So if we look at other stuff on the undercarriage, everything looks good. So I think I'm going to try and turn the engine first. Once the engine is turned, what we will do is, if the engine is turning, we'll remove the mountings and try and get to the starter, and then yeah, take it from there. But to remove the starter on this is a little bit of a mission. It's more or less like the Audis. The Audis, you have to like put an engine brace on the engine. Once you have an engine brace on, then lift up the engine to remove the mounting. So once the mounting's out of the way, then you can finally access the starter. So that might be the case. I hope and pray that maybe this car wasn't running, because when it was water damaged, maybe water went into the brushes. Once the water went into the brushes, it like caused rust on the starter or something. I've seen a lot of videos of cars that were water damaged, and all they had to do was just change the starter, and it worked out. So right now, let's try and turn the engine.
Now, besides turning the engine over with your key and starter, there are other ways of turning the engine. For one, you need to locate the crankshaft pulley and then turn it manually so that you can see if the engine turns. That method is one of the easiest ways to rotate an engine, if not one of the only ways. Now, if an engine doesn't turn when trying to turn it on the crankshaft pulley bolt, that means the engine could be hydrolocked or it could be seized. And if your engine is hydrolocked or seized, worst case scenario, you might actually need a new engine.
Alright, so we're gonna attempt to turn this engine. Okay, got some space for a ratchet. Whoa, shit. I'm literally ooh. No. I'm literally swinging. Ooh. I'm literally swinging on the what is this? I'm literally swinging on my ratchet. Oh, like it is not turning. Like I'm literally swinging on it. The engine is seized. So this car is a non-runner because the engine is seized.
The engine on this Porsche could be seized for many different reasons. It could be a damaged crankshaft or even some melted bearings. But in this case, we have encountered the worst possible scenario. I suspect this engine might be hydrolocked.
Hydrolocking.
Which means the water could have entered into the cylinders, preventing the pistons from completing their cycle. If that's the case, the pistons can exert too much force onto the connecting rods, causing them to bend, break, or even snap. And there's a good chance the built-up moisture inside this engine could have caused rust on the cylinders, which can even raise much bigger concern. But we will only know once we strip this engine. In this game, the highs are really high.
But this thing, the power.
And the lows are definitely low.
I'm literally
But that's the game. We definitely don't know what we will find when we strip this engine.
We don't know what other things could have been damaged during when the car was in flood damage. Now like it's gonna get really real. So in the next YouTube video, we will be stripping this car, hopefully repairing it in one video, and hopefully driving it in one video.
Here's how you can win this Maserati Gran Turismo for only 100 Rand. Search www.helpingmzansi.org or click the link in the description. Once you're on the home page, select giveaway. Then select enter giveaway now. Then select buy ticket. You may purchase as many tickets as you wish. The more entries, the more chances you have to win. Next, select checkout and then fill in all of the customer details required for you to purchase your tickets. Then select continue. Next, select place order and pay. You have the option to choose between Apple Pay, Google Pay or card payment. When that's completed, you will receive your order confirmation and your ticket number, including the invoice, via email. Ensure to input the correct email to avoid any complications.
So how's it, guys? Today is a big day. My cheap Porsche that I got behind me, we're gonna be fixing this car, and I got a gremlin here with me. My good friend Sia from Brothers Motors is gonna be helping me with the Porsche. I flew him out all the way from Durban, just like the baddie that he is. So we're gonna be fixing the Porsche together, and we're gonna try to get it ready. So we actually don't know what is wrong with the Porsche, in case you didn't see the other video. This car was storm damaged, and it being storm damaged, what we discovered on the previous video is that the engine, not the car, the car's engine does not turn. So we're going to be checking this car out and see what we find or what is wrong with the car. But Sia actually elaborated that, you know what, before removing the engine and doing too much, let's first remove the starter on the car and see, since they tampered with the starter already, let's see maybe if the starter's bendix is not stuck on the flywheel and causing the car's engine not to churn. If that is a problem, that could be like really cheap to fix this car. So it could be a really good steal, and that's what we need at this moment. Some big luck for this big car. Sia, let's get it done, my man.
Yeah, let's get it done. Shot.
Before we begin though, we're going to need some tools. And that brings me to today's sponsor, Trigon Tooling in Kennedy, South Africa. They have provided us with a 6-drawer, 124-piece Kengai toolbox, which was a pleasure to assemble.
On my last video where I was repairing the GTR, some very important people saw me struggling for a power bar, and they reached out to us and said, Mambo, here's some power bars. And here's a toolbox to repair your Porsche project. And the guys that actually reached out to us is Kennedy, South Africa, and Trigon Tooling. So if you're interested in a toolbox for yourself to do your projects, make sure you click the link in our description and use Mambo10 when purchasing any tools from Trigon Tooling or this Kengai toolbox, and you can get a 10% discount. No, it's fine. Woo, that smells new. That smells new. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6-drawer cabin toolbox. I'm guessing the wheels are somewhere inside the drawers. This looks tops like that. So yeah, thank you to the guys at Kennedy, South Africa. We're going to be using this Kengai while we repair this Porsche, and let's see how goes it.
Yes. Heat. Hey, it's like a slow, painful death.
How's it Durban was except? Always complaining. Huh? You see why I left Durban?
And now we're going to raise the car up and try and remove the starter to see if that was the cause for the engine to seize.
Before we check out the starter, we will be draining the oil just to see if oil went into the engine. So we're keeping our fingers crossed on that one to see if it's just oil in there. If there's just oil, that's good.
Didn't suck water inside the engine.
So there's
Probably.
no oil inside.
Yeah.
That's how much oil came out. Little to no oil is what came out. Little to no oil. So that sucks.
And you can see it's not.
Doesn't look like it was mixing oil and water, but now we're just gonna strip out the starter and see.
To get to the starter, there are various components that we need to first remove. If you've ever worked on Audis that have an engine configuration just like this Porsche, you know the amount of work that needs to be put in.
So most of the stuff is out now.
2 bolts are left.
2 bolts are left on the catalytic converter. So I want to remove the cat and then see if we can get access to the starter. So one thing about this guy is very lazy. Me, I would have said engine out, fast. So he wants to make plans first, see if we can get to the starter.
Hey, Bob,
Get it
I
done.
need a power bar.
We need the Ken guy power bar.
Yeah.
It feels good to not be doing the hard work for once in a while.
We removed a few bolts, but there were some bolts that were really stubborn.
All right, so the last bolt doesn't want to come out, so we will just remove the turbo to access the starter. No other plan, because we tried to take a shortcut. The bolts, some of them are seized on, so we don't have a choice but to remove the.
That's too tight.
It's too tight. We'll just remove the whole turbo. Hopefully it's not all for nothing. Hopefully we just remove the starter, check the starter is broken, put another starter, we start, we drive off to the sunset. But if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. So I'm sure there's going to be a catch somewhere.
The starter is unfortunately positioned under the turbo, and to get to the starter, the turbo is one of the things that needs to be removed. We went to loosen the intercooler pipe, and we did expect some water, so we had a bucket underneath to make sure that we don't make a mess.
Way! Boy, so much in the things are bent here. Control bent, brake pads gone, gearbox.
Wait, that's all water.
Yeah.
It's water.
It's not supposed to be there.
No.
It's the intercool.
That goes into the engine's intake system, and that goes in turn inside the engine. So the engine probably hydrolock, and it stinks.
Yeah, it does.
It's been used.
Con rods gone, pistons gone, brake pads worn, everything.
Brake pads gone, everything broken, clutch plate, pressure plate, they had everything.
The amount of water that came out of the intercooler pipe was absolutely disturbing. Just look at that, liters of water drained to the bucket below.
So we're suspecting here, since there was so much of water in the intercooler, they must have started the car while it was in the water, or whatever the case is, or drove in the water, and it sucked all of the water through the turbo, through the intake, and caused the engine to seize and be hydrolocked. So the starter, I'm beginning to just lose faith that the starter is a problem. Starter may just be, the issue might just be the engine itself.
Yeah.
So you might need a new engine or repair the engine.
I can only hope that all of this water didn't go through the intake into the engine and cause some conrods to bend.
Easiest way, suspension out. Yeah?
To remove the engine?
Yeah. What you can do, we can remove the intake. Just to see whether there's no water on the valves. And remove all the plugs.
So at this point, we figured out that the best move from here would be to remove the turbo. The turbocharger on these Porsches is one unit with the exhaust manifold. And with some extra help in the workshop, we were able to get this done in no time. We managed to remove the turbo, followed by the downpipe and the exhaust manifold. And now that it's out of the way, we can attempt to remove the starter. We also have to put an engine support bar to lift the engine, just so that we could also remove the engine mounting on the right hand side so that we can access the starter.
Yeah, we have to separate the mounting and the bracket. So this one is the bracket and this is the mounting. This is the mounting, this is the bracket. In order for it to come out.
Removing the engine mount bracket was certainly a struggle.
The car is showing signs of like contamination inside the engine, because on the turbo oil lines we saw like milkshake. So if you know anything about cars, anytime you see oil that's like milkshake type, normally because it was mixing oil and water. So the engine is possibly cooked, but we still want to remove the starter first and see.
removing the starter is also not as simple as possible. We have to remove the turbo catalytic converter as well as the engine mounting on the right hand side, and then we eventually get to the starter. So if you drive a Porsche or Audis that have the same engine and it's in this configuration, changing the starter can cost you maybe up to about 8,000 rand, I think. Yeah, about 8,000 to 10,000 rand, depending where or who you fix your car at. Another guy that doesn't know how much work it is can say, starter 1.5.
And getting to the engine mounting also required us to remove the fender liner, just so that we could get to some hard to reach bolts.
You saw the water that came out from the turbo. There was a lot of water on the turbo.
It was what?
Maybe 5 liters.
Lot water.
Yeah, a lot.
They say I speak like a child, they've never heard the song.
After some tedious hours, we finally managed to disconnect the starter from the engine and then attempted to turn it.
Oh, so the starter is out of the way now, and the engine's still not turning, which means the engine is cooked. You have to remove the engine out.
There's no other way.
See, listen to me all day taking out starter. I can't.
Alright.
What if we started with the engine in the morning? We would have been done already.
Yeah.
Maybe
Surely.
like almost
Oh,
out.
halfway, yeah.
So now that we know for certain that the starter is not the cause of the engine not turning, we can certainly begin by removing the engine. I asked you guys in the previous video what would be the best way to remove this engine.
Comment down below, let me know what you think. Is it better to remove it from the front, from the top, or from the underneath?
The most of you agreed that the best way to remove this engine would be from the bottom. And I would say that we also agree. But while we were doing the inspection on the undercarriage, we discovered another sign of shady workmanship and some missing parts.
They stole some parts from this car.
Or maybe they were checking, Gucci. It's not the gearbox that's
Causing it to seize.
Yeah.
It can't be.
Maybe
Maybe there's no mechatronics there.
Huh? Let's check out the cover. Which one? Well, we have to strip the side.
We think that some parts from the gearbox were stolen. So we began removing the cover from the gearbox sump to do a further inspection, as the sump was also missing some bolts. We decided to try and drain the gearbox sump before removing the sump, and to our surprise, there was no oil in the gearbox.
So no oil in the sump. So the sump was also removed. So now we'll just strip the sump out and see what's going on in there.
We removed the sump and found even more worrying issues.
Look, loose bolts. They might have swapped this thing out. But why? Why? Because they stole it. Probably they stole it or whatever. But you see, these bolts are loose. Just imagine if we didn't check this and then we started the car
With no oil.
with no oil. Some mechanics are shameless. Some was. Why would you strip something and then close? Because you saw the car when you stripped it. When you stripped the car, like all the covers were on. Why not just do a proper job and just tighten all of the bolts? Because look at this bolt, like it's loose. Yeah, this is just like nothing else. Let's try and tighten them and just hope that they didn't steal this and swap it out. But this is just now a nightmare.
Best way, let's drop the engine and gearbox.
Together.
Yeah. We got no option. Unless if we strip it in place. That's another waste of time.
Well, stripping it in place, if the bearings has got a problem, you need to drop the steering rack. But dropping the steering rack here is easy business, just over here, out. Yeah, because even to take out the steering rack, we just mark here, take it out here, drop everything. We're thinking of dropping the engine and gearbox one time. It's gonna be a graph and a half, but since it's seized up, removing the what you call engine alone might be.
It's going to be a problem.
Yeah,
because the engine is not turning.
So what we're gonna do is just drop the box and the gearbox same time.
And the engine.
Yeah.
Gearbox and engine one time.
Estala.
Well, let's get it done. So we've decided that our game plan on this repair is for us not to remove the gearbox separately, but to remove the engine and gearbox as one unit. To remove this engine, we'll have to drop it on something. We would normally use a steel table, but that's currently not available. So what we'll actually do is be creative and put the engine and gearbox on top of a pallet. For the engine to go fully down and the vehicle to go fully down, we'll have to remove all four wheels on the Porsche. And this is because
so the car can go low as possible, because it's dropping the subframe and the engine.
All four wheels were removed, and I discussed the best way to safely lower the engine and the subframe. Now, if your plan is to remove an engine, firstly, you need to remove all of the connecting parts that will remain behind on the body and the chassis of the vehicle. Some of those things is the wiring loop. So the first thing we need to remove is the wiring loop.
All right, now that the wiring is done, the undercarriage is done, we are going to do some final double checks with brothers or big baddie over there. And then I flew you out, Exe, you're a baddie. So yeah, we're gonna check what's happening underneath the car, and then we're gonna drop the engine on a pallet and then take it from there.
After checking if everything was disconnected properly, we began dropping the engine.
Guys, I want you to see something. I want you to see how small this engine for the Porsche is, and look at how big the gearbox is. All right, let me remove my gloves. This looks like a crime to me. So this is the EA888 engine that is on this Porsche, and then just so the engine starts here and ends right over there, and then from there to all the way there is the gearbox. How does that make sense, Baba? Make it make sense.
Some Porsche engineering for you there.
It's got the Golf 7 water pump. It's got the Golf 7 alternator intake over there.
And with the engine and gearbox now completely removed from the Porsche's body, we can begin the next phase of stripping this engine down to see just how bad the damage is.
All right, so guys, today we are going to be stripping this EA888 Bear. Is it an EA888?
Yeah.
Does it count as an EA888?
Yeah, it is an EA888.
Whatever it is meat on the bone for us to tear and vandalize, and that's what is exactly we're going to be doing. We're going to be stripping this engine and see what is wrong with it. Maybe possibly try and get it running and get it fixed up by the end of business day today. Huge thanks to Brothers Motors, Sia over there.
Shout out, guys.
He helped me yesterday. I was just tired after and defeated after we were checking the starter, and he said, you know what, let's push one more hour and just get this engine out. And that's exactly what we did. Got the engine out. So right now we're going to try and see and find out
while this engine is seized, because we have now seen that the problem is not the starter. So let's check it out.
The first thing I'll begin by removing is the coil packs, while Sia is removing the throttle body and the intake, as well as any additional pipes and wiring. I only found 2 coil packs on the engine when we bought it. It seems the previous mechanics forgot to put it back. Next, we got the PCV system removed, as well as the high pressure fuel pump. We managed to remove the upper timing cover and then also remove the crank pulley bolt. I then started using the impact wrench to remove the lower timing cover.
So at this point in time now, we are busy removing the timing
chain
and then
guides.
After that, we'll probably remove the
head.
The cylinder head, yes. So right now, we still haven't seen anything. So we're just going deeper and deeper until we can't get deeper anymore. So that's your timing chain out. In case you don't know what a timing chain is for, this is what helps your engine be in time, actually. So if your engine's always late, you're never in time. It's because of your timing chain. The alarm clock was not working. So yeah, this helps rotate the valves, the valves to open at the correct time. So yeah, there's timing marks on the timing chain that help you, the technician, when you're working on the car, to make sure that your engine is timed correctly. This is all too familiar with me. Ooh, what is that? Bent Conrad. It looks like it's bent, or it's just a natural curve.
It's at the end.
Yeah. We'll see, but
the second one looks bent.
Yeah, let's just go deeper. Yeah, looks like the conrods might be bent. Must have maybe tried to
okay.
They must have maybe tried to start this car while it had water inside the cylinders, so I don't know.
It could be the positioning of the conrod, but to me, this conrod looks bent from this angle. Let me know what you guys think. Next, we focused on removing the cylinder head.
The cams look fresh. No scores, no signs of seizing. So our problem might definitely be on the block. The problem is the block.
Yes, this thing is tight. Needs power, Baba.
Our head bolts have been loosened by Osianda there. Now we're just gonna remove the head. So our suspicions that Sianda, how's this work, sir?
Hey,
left one bolt, bruh.
I left one bolt.
What you doing, sir? You're dosing now. We graphing here, Baba.
I didn't crack it.
I didn't bust this nut. This guy.
We can now remove the cylinder head, which is the critical component of any engine. You can find your vehicle's cylinder head located on the top of your engine block. The cylinder head is strategically positioned on top of the engine block so that when the valves open and close, they can get direct access to the exhaust gases and intake gases. Once all of the bolts were off, it was just a matter of lifting up the cylinder head to remove it and also remove the old cylinder head gasket.
This engine is seized. It's because there was water that went into the cylinders and the piston rings just seized onto the sleeves. So we'll just remove this block and then we will try and send it to engineers for cleaning. They'll hone it. Maybe we'll also just change the pistons. They look like normal Golf 7 GTI pistons, these ones.
One of the best ideas we could come up with to try and unseize the pistons was to pour oil inside the cylinder bores and just hope that it gets loose. This is a common method used when working on seized engine. Explained by Sia.
If it's not bent underneath or seized underneath, it should turn.
And while we wait for that, we will attempt to try and separate the gearbox from the engine. And to do that, we will have to use the engine crane. We firstly mounted the chain onto the block, then brought in the engine crane. We lifted up the engine, but the crane was not balanced properly. So I asked my friend to just stand on the back so that the crane can be balanced.
We're actually removing the bottom side of the bolts that are holding the gearbox and the block. Then we'll try to turn the engine, so we'll open the bolt on the top converter and the flywheel. Else if the engine is still not turning, we'll have to remove the CV. So it will come with the top converter. Yeah. That's the easiest way. There's no other way.
And in case you're wondering why we have plugged in the aircon compressor.
So this is very important, guys. You need to, as soon as you open the pipes, you need to block. It's either you have a special blockage covers, like injector covers. It's same as here, but if you don't, you just use a plastic to block it off. You see, you learn every day. In mechanics, there's no better mechanic, eh? It's how you do your work. So I wouldn't say there's a perfect mechanic. Different shit every day.
We have to remove the torque converter bolts. We also had to re-torque the crank pulley bolts so that we could attempt to now turn the engine. We also discovered that the alternator also has a problem.
Seized, stuck, not turning. Only turns anti-clockwise, not clockwise. So we need a new alternator as well. Another 700 trillion.
700 trillion!
We then focused our attention on the subframe brackets and mounts. And with the hose off, we can now use the engine crane again to remove the gearbox. We managed to get the engine and gearbox up and placed it on the two tires. After removing the very last bolt off, that was the engine and gearbox being separated. But it's not yet time to celebrate because we discovered yet another red flag about this Porsche Macan.
They've stripped this before. As you can see, the torque converter bolts were missing. So the whole reason for us to remove the drive shaft on this side was because we wanted to, the engine could not turn and we could not take out the torque converter bolts one by one. But once the gearbox was out, we saw that the bolts are already missing. So they've stripped this before. So now I don't know whether this gearbox is a gearbox coming from another car, or they stole mechatronics from this gearbox, or they stole like the modules from this gearbox. At this point, I don't know. And yeah, this might be like really bad because we can fix this engine, car can start up. And then once we start up, we find that the gearbox is not driving because it's not coding, or they swapped out the gearbox, but they've done a lot of shady stuff on this car, the guys that worked on this car. So we also now missing torque converter bolts. So we also need torque converter bolts for this car. So yeah, as I said, projects are a gift that keep on giving.
Alternator too as well is seized up.
Alternator we need, starter we need, torque converter bolts. Yeah, but let's finish it up.
Okay, the bolts that are missing are torque converter bolts. There's 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3. It's missing. The reason why we removed the drive shaft was to make it easier for us, the block to come with the top converter, since it's not turning and we couldn't get access to the bolts. But then there are no bolts. So we're gonna need 3 bolts.
This car so far has certainly been the most shady I have ever bought. And of course, I don't have anyone to blame but myself. and the shady mechanics that worked on the car. The missing torque converter bolts is a serious problem. I really hope there isn't any more nasty surprises. We then loosened all of the bolts on the flywheel and then removed the flywheel as well. Let's get this engine on the engine stand so we can focus on our biggest issue, which is a seized engine. Once again, we had to use the engine crane so that we could position it properly on the engine stand. With the engine positioned on the engine stand, we can now properly and most comfortably work on this engine and try to get it to turn once again. Let's get the oil sump out and the lower oil pan off.
Watch this. See? Fast. Done. 2 minutes, boss.
What you may have missed is that there's more milky residue on the oil pan, which are actually more signs that oil and water could have possibly mixed. Removing the upper sump gives us a full view of the big end bearings and the main bearings of this Porsche Macan engine. We attempted to put more diesel to try and get these pistons unseized, and when we were ready, we flipped the engine over to apply more diesel to the cylinder bores, and this was all because of an attempt to try and get this engine turning once again. We came up with a plan whereby Sia would try and turn the engine with the power bar and I would gently tap all of the pistons. In that way, we would be hoping to at least shock the pistons and get them to forcefully unseize. We had some movement on the pistons, and that means that they were starting to free up. This might not be the most technical way to do things, but it certainly worked. But our work is not done just yet. The pistons are still not moving all of the way. So we turn the engine over to remove one of the pistons by loosening the big end bearing caps.
So as I suspected, the main cause for this car to seize is the rings. I think maybe like the engineers should formulate like rings being made out of copper or maybe like aluminium, just so that they don't seize, because this is what always causes the engines to seize. Rings. Pistons look fine. We might use the old pistons. The bearings are tops as well, so we might just change the rings only.
When an engine is normally seized like this, it is normally because the piston rings become stuck to the cylinder, and then that prevents the piston rings from performing their essential functions properly. These old piston rings will definitely not be used again. One of the most important things when removing pistons is to mark the main bearing caps and the con rods one by one.
Right, so right now we're gonna go looking for some parts. Rings, head gasket, head bolts, starter, alternator. What else?
And
maybe some silicone, another lower timing cover.
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
Then oil filter.
Oil filter, yeah, that's it. So that's what we're gonna get and get this car back, engines assembled, reassembled, and then I guess we're done. And then we're gonna see if it runs, and then we're gonna see if they install a gearbox. Yeah.
But let's check the pause.
Huh?
The pause
Oh,
before we even
see
go.
how. Mama, keep it up. I'll try that.
Nah, they look clean.
Yeah. So we're gonna clean these cylinder bores and hone them and measure them with a, what's that thing again? Telescopic gauge.
Dial bore gauge.
Dial bore gauge, I don't know.
Yeah.
When we learned about that, what Motors Training Academy was still Imperial Training Academy, ITA. That's where we did our training together. So yeah, we're gonna measure it. If it's all good after we've honed it, then yeah, we're gonna put everything back together.
We got samples of everything and headed out to get the parts that we needed to get this Porsche Macan back on the road. We left the pistons soaked so that when we return, it would be easy to remove the old piston rings. While we were at the spare shop, we firstly wanted to get the correct size piston rings, and to do that we had to measure them and try and put it into one of the pistons to see if they fit correctly. After checking for the correct piston rings, we also bought another matching starter. We thought that we would need a new alternator because the alternator that we currently had was seized. But before we left for the spare shop, we left the alternator soaked in Q20, hoping that it might unseize before we get back. We got everything we needed and headed back to the workshop. And now we can begin the next process, which is soaking and cleaning all of the contaminated engine parts.
So we're just gonna wash all the parts, the engine parts, like some pistons as well. We've soaked the pistons because the rings were seized, so we still soaked it. Just gonna wash the external parts, and we're busy doing the bores, cleaning the bores.
We started by cleaning the engine block before we placed the cylinder head gasket. We had to remove the old silicone from the old upper oil sump. And now we can focus on honing the cylinders to make them smooth so that our new piston rings do not get stuck.
Okay, this is a tool that we're going to be using to just clean the bores. It's called a honing tool. So basically you're just going to clean the rust where the pistons are seized.
The cylinder head also needed some very good cleaning. We also lubricated the air intake valves and the exhaust valves with some lubricant. There was definitely no time to work, so while I was busy honing the cylinders, Sia was trying to get the engine parts as clean as possible. I then sprayed some lubricant and wiped down the bores. The cylinder bores are definitely in much better condition. Now all that's left to do is to remove the old seized piston rings so that we can put on the new piston rings. To remove the old piston rings, we need to tap them gently with a screwdriver. Tapping them gently with the screwdriver actually puts a little bit of shock to them and they unseize. We also had to properly clean off the pistons by scraping off all of the rust that had built in between the crevices.
How's these Durban mechanics? Hey, they love their hammers. Nothing gets fixed without smacking it.
Everything it does
Needs a
must
hammer.
be a hammer.
That noise needs a hammer.
Hammer. And he'll tell you everything it does needs hammer.
Light bulb not working, hammer.
We managed to get all of the seized piston rings out. All the pistons were cleaned and ready for the new piston rings. After putting all of the piston rings on, we secured everything with a piston ring squeezer to get it ready to be fitted on the block. We then continued by carefully placing each of the pistons into the cylinder bores using a piston ring squeezer and a hammer to give it a little bit of persuasion. We had to repeat this process 3 more times for the rest of the pistons. And in no time, all 4 pistons were where they belong. We then flipped the engine over to see if it's turning. And there we go, the engine is now turning. On the next step, we had to loosen the crank bolt because if you remember, we had to tighten it when we were testing to see if the engine would turn. We needed to clean the edges of the block. That was covered by the old and previous silicone. But whilst doing this, we also had to ensure that we cover with a cloth so that the silicone doesn't go inside the engine. We then made sure that all of the bearing caps were torqued to manufacturer specification.
Yeah.
We used a high pressure blowgun to to properly clean all of the debris. Next, we had to put on the upper sump. When you're installing an upper sump, you also have to seal it with silicone. Once the upper sump is installed, you can then add on the oil pump. With all of that done, we can now add on the plastic sump. Now we can flip the engine over and place this Porsche's cylinder head on. Before that though, we placed the new cylinder head gasket, followed by the cylinder head. Remember, it's always important to ensure that your surface is clean so that you don't have any compression gases, coolant or oil leak in between your cylinder head and the block. We torqued down all of the cylinder head bolts before placing the camshafts. With the camshafts on, next we can carefully put the timing chain and the timing chain guides in their rightful place.
It's time for timing now.
Oh,
it's time for timing. It's time for timing. So right now we're busy timing the engine. I don't know why I smirk when I speak about timing. Our engine is now turning because we had a seized engine. So once this engine is in the car, we'll be able to see the other things. So we still have to get like gearbox, oil, CVT. I think it takes CVT fluid or
CVT fluid.
DSG fluid. We're gonna find out tomorrow. So whatever it takes, we'll find out tomorrow. But we're making some really great progress. This has been a very long build. We're trying to finish this thing in less than 24 hours.
Next step was to install the camshaft bridge that is responsible for distributing some of the oil to the camshafts themselves. As I stated in the beginning, now we're going to be putting on the new timing chain cover. Using the old timing chain cover sometimes leads to unwanted oil leaks. It is now time to fit on the high pressure fuel pump. And with that on, that just leaves
Turbo, intake, brake pads is next. Tires, brake pads, subframe, windscreen, wipers. We started up.
We saw how much of a mission it was to remove the turbo while it was still in the car. So we decided to install the turbo while the engine is out. The turbocharger is a component that uses the engine's exhaust gases to spin the turbine, which then powers a compressor to force more air into the engine. This extra air allows the engine to burn more fuel, making more power. While I'm busy working on the turbo, Sia will work on getting the intake and the throttle body back on the engine. This EA888 engine is nearly complete, and we are just left with the turbo, which mounts onto here. But we'll only do that when the engine is back onto the gearbox. After putting on the PCV system, I sprayed the turbo with some Q20.
You have to fit the engine with the gearbox before we fit the turbo, so you'll be able to fit the starter properly.
About the starter, if you remember, we actually needed to replace it, but we're going to test if this current one works by doing an old school check using a battery and a load.
Yeah, we'll put positive, and then the add is the starter, then there's the power to start it.
We also had to cut some wires and get some wires so that we could actuate the starter. If this starter does not work, we might have to spend an additional 5,000 Rand or more for a new starter.
It's not load for that.
Well, at least the starter turns, but we have to make sure and put it under load.
So we just wanted to see the starter under load, if it would turn the engine, and it looks like it is charging. Because if the starter is bad, if and you normally do put a load, it'll just, as you turn it, jam, but it'll normally bite away what you put on, like a plank. It's not like a professional way to test it, but it's caveman style, bushman style.
Using the engine crane, we attempted to get the engine back into the car by properly positioning it, which is not exactly a straightforward process. We need to put this engine in with the gearbox transmission attached, which, if you remember, we don't even know if this transmission actually works. Before that, we had to screw on and torque down the crank pulley bolt. Next, we placed the flywheel, and then we had to torque down the flywheel bolts. And now we can put the engine in place to join it and make it one with the gearbox. With the engine and gearbox joined, we can now secure them together with the rest of the bolts. I did have some concerns about the size of the gearbox though.
So it looks wrong that the gearbox is like too big and the engine is like this small.
With the gearbox on, I then mounted the starter. Next, we had the aircon compressor mounted, followed by the alternator. We then managed to mount the turbo on while the engine was still on the crane. We then placed the 4 coil packs, and if you remember, we were missing 2. We had to make sure all of the tensioners and the bolts were on.
So this Porsche build has been the ultimate test, I'd say, of my endurance and seeing how far I can go. And we attempted to fix this in like 24 hours, but I think it's gonna be maybe done in 2 days. For one, it's a lot of work. Number two, I do not think I would have came as far as I've came now with this Porsche without the good help of my good friend Sia. So yeah, we've made some really great progress on this Porsche. As you can see, yesterday we tried to push as much as possible and get everything put on that we could get put on, which is the gearbox, the high pressure fuel pump, the vacuum pump, intake, the turbo as well is even on the car. So the turbo is fitted, and the troublemaker, which is the starter as well, is also fitted. So yeah, we've managed to push a great deal. And we also found like some really short bolts that we can use for the flywheel, since the flywheel bolts as well were missing. A whole lot of stuff were missing on this Porsche. So I am also, I would say, a little bit scared, because I do not know, once this engine is in the car, what maybe other nasty surprises lie ahead. So I would say I'm nervous. So one thing we forgot to buy yesterday was gearbox fluid. So we will get some gearbox fluid, get that fitted in the car, and then hopefully we'll try and run the car today with gearbox fluid and test the car, hopefully, if there's nothing else that prevents us from running and driving this Porsche Macan.
We moved the engine over to the pallet and hooked it up to the subframe. Now the next step is to drop the Porsche very slowly and precisely and get to work. So we're basically trying to get the engine into place, which does involve a lot of kicking, lifting, and some uncomfortable positions. And after all of those tries, kicks, screams, and pulls, we did manage to get the engine in. Now we had to utilize the engine brace to hold the engine up in the air to get it off the pallet.
Not the safest thing to do, not the most smartest thing to do as well. But we didn't have a choice. But the plan did work.
With the engine on, we will now have to use the transmission jack to help us put this gearbox and engine into place. And here we are just bolting on the subframe. And now we are really close.
Bolts are on. Now we tighten it down, we wire it up, and then you see.
Yes.
Right, so now the main issue we had with this car was that the engine wasn't turning. We discovered that
the rings were the problem.
Rings.
They rusted onto the cylinders. So now that has been sorted out, the car's got new rings, old pistons, old bearings, they were good. There's no need to change them. So now the engine is turning and the starter is working. We tested it under load. So now what we're gonna do is put everything on and attempt to swing this car and see what happens. Because for a car to start, the engine must rotate. So now the engine
And
rotates.
there is compression, so it should start.
Yeah, we'll check it out, we'll see.
You probably can't see, but what we're currently doing is trying to align the flywheel bolts to the torque converter. Now this Porsche came with some missing flywheel bolts, so we did manage to find some bolts in the workshop that were actually similar to the ones that go on the Porsche.
So those are the ones that we are attempting to put on. Going in. So we're gonna put them on, tighten them, try and turn the engine to see if they're not catching anyway, because they're not the original, but
Same thread.
same thread.
And it is top convertible.
Yeah, they are torque convertibles, but they came out of another car. They were probably extra on another.
Of course, we had to make some modifications so that they would fit properly, which meant we needed to make use of some power tools. This may not be the safest way to do it, but we were using a vice grip and a grinder to grind these bolts down. After grinding them down, we tried to screw them on and it looks like they fit just right.
So we had to modify these flywheel bolts, because as we tightened them and we tried to turn the engine just locked. So the push baby here, we cut them. Not the safest thing to do again, but hey, here we're fixing cars, baba. And it's a weekend today. There's no place that's open. Yeah, we make a plan, boss.
Make a plan.
Next, we needed to get the control arms into the correct position so that we can fit the drive shaft. The drive shaft is normally installed through the passenger side, but there isn't any space. We eventually got it right and put the bracket back on. Now we can focus on putting the gear selector cable back on, which allows you to move from park, neutral, drive, or even sport if you drive a proper car. Next, we have to install the prop shaft. The prop shaft is normally there to send torque to the rear wheels and the rear differential. We can now complete the exhaust system by adding the mid-pipe. We just need to screw everything in. After that, we installed the fender liners and we got all four wheels back onto the Porsche. Well, with the engine on, gearbox secured, there's no reason why this car shouldn't start.
I think we must give our visitor the opportunity to try and start this one up. What you think?
Absolutely.
Huh?
Absolutely.
But first, we'll have to fill up the gearbox oil before we can start it. So the oil pump doesn't run dry on the gearbox. Yeah. If the car doesn't start, please join me in beating up Sia. Ever since I started doing projects, everything Baba I started starts. So please join me in the national day of beating this all up. If this car doesn't start. If it starts, please like Brothers Motors SA on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram,
YouTube,
everywhere.
everywhere.
Check him out. And if you got a Macan, Golf 7, whatever, as long as it's got 4 wheels and an engine, he's your guy in Durban.
We need to try something.
Right now I'm attempting to blow as much air through the intercooler, just to make sure that there's no water stuck in the system, so that the car doesn't get like hydrolocked again and then we go back to square one.
Right, look.
pistons blowing through one side so it can come out the other.
There was still plenty of water left in the intercooler. Filling gearbox oil on these Porsches isn't actually rocket science. All you have to do is to locate the filler plug on the side and put on your filler tool. Before that though, we need to drain whatever oil is still in the gearbox so that we can fill it up with new oil.
So that's 4 liters in. We're gonna put 1 more liter because I said you need to fill until it comes out, and then run the car. Once the car is warm at over 40 degrees, then you fill again. Once the car is at operating, no, not operating temperature at 40 degrees. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Fill it up now until it starts spewing out. Once it's spewed out, then we'll fill it again when the car's hot. Let's see if it can get hot. For it to get hot, it needs to run. For it to run, Sia needs to have done a hell of a good job.
Hey bro, we did a good job.
2 days of graphic, no sleep, boy. If you drive a Porsche Macan and you ever have this similar issue, yo, I'm not gonna lie, I pity you. This is a lot of labor, so I know. Probably about 40 grand worth of labor. This, yeah, I think that's fair. 40 grand. That's over what? 42 hours.
42 hours.
Yeah.
We then closed up the sump and dropped the car and prepared it for its first start.
Now we're gonna start this car. There's no running away now.
There's no turning back.
We're gonna see if we should have just been GTI boys.
Right, what you're gonna do, we're gonna disconnect all the coil packs. So we start the engine, so it pumps the oil up, fill it to the hydraulic lifters, then connect it, then start it again. So it helps the engine not to run dry.
We then put a new oil filter in. After that, we just needed to connect the airbox.
So I'm just putting the airbox so nothing accidentally just like gets sucked into the turbo. And then now we cooked even more.
The battery on this car is certainly flat, but we're going to have to use this one for now, temporarily.
Right guys, last time on the last video I said the button is under the windshield or the window wiper. So here it is.
Right, so we're gonna first swing the car. The coil packs are unplugged just to build up the oil pressure before the car runs, because yeah, the car's been sitting for a long time. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna swing it first. After swinging it for a couple of seconds, then we'll plug them back in and see if it starts. Right, let's go. Okay, swing. I'll swing again, so at least the engine turns with the key. That is good. We took a risk of putting back the old starter, and it worked out. Our test worked. Our caveman style test worked. Our caveman, hey guys, I'm tired. Hey, 2 days no sleep. So our caveman style worked. The engine is turning, so let's test it again. Okay, so we've turned the engine 2 times. Now we're gonna plug it in.
Gonna plug back the coil packs. Right. Alright, start.
Ignition on. Go.
Yeah.
This is what you wanted.
Will you look at that? We did it. The car actually starts. All that water coming out from the pipe isn't good. That must be all of the water that was trapped in the intercooler. So we'll just leave the pipe disconnected so that all of the water can come out. That smoke you see is just caused by the water that's spilling onto the exhaust. Well, it is not time to celebrate just yet because we just discovered a leak.
Right, so to miss. Right. It's the oil filter housing on the gearbox. It's leaking.
So we need a new one.
Yeah. So we need an oil filter for the gearbox. It has a crack.
So at least the Porsche runs terribly, but it's progress nonetheless. So the alternator initially it was seized. We made a plan, got it unseized. So we think that the noise might be coming from there. So we want to disconnect the belt and see if it'll be quiet. If the engine is completely quiet after removing the belt, that means that we have to get a new alternator. So we did find one from a supplier, but it was 160 amps alternator, and we need a alternator that is 180 amps for this car. So yeah, we will cross that bridge when we get to it if the noise is coming from the alternator. But it does have a rough bearing, so we'll see that. And then we also now have an issue of a leaking gearbox, so we'll have to try and sort that out as well.
Before that though, we needed to remove the cracked oil filter housing.
Oh, got a very small crack on the bolt itself.
Right.
Let's try and seal this up for now, temporary. For a temporary solution.
Yeah, there's no other way you'll get it.
We're gonna make a temporary fix on our broken oil filter housing, and then we're going to see if it stops leaking. But this is just a temporary solution. Today is a weekend, it's Saturday, and Porsche is closed, Midas is closed, Goldwagon is closed. It's 6 o'clock in the afternoon, boss. We've been working 24 hours like security guards that don't even chaser. So what we want to do right now, disconnect the V-belt so that we see if that knocking noise that you guys heard when you started up the car is still there. If the noise is still there, something else is the problem. If the noise is gone and the car is completely quiet, we have to get a new alternator, get the alternator reconditioned. All right, so we're gonna just put this back on. We also need a filter for it. We're gonna put this back on, run the car, and then see how goes it. Let's check it again. Take 3. It's the third start, eh?
Well, we made a temporary fix and put the oil filter housing back on, just so that we can try and run the vehicle and see what else could be wrong with our Porsche.
So with the temporary fix on the oil filter housing cap, we are hoping that it doesn't leak anymore, just so that we can at least idle the car for a longer time and then see if the engine is actually smooth. So at the moment the engine isn't smooth because we suspect the alternator is faulty, but we're gonna start it and see. Right. So the noise is still there. We suspect the flywheel could be touching somewhere. I'm gonna check the flywheel. Yeah, that noise is gnarring, except.
We inspected the bolts and determined that they'll need to be made much shorter.
It's not the original bolt.
Maybe the bolt is too long. Maybe it's too long. It's touching somewhere.
Or maybe the top convector plate is bent.
Because it looks like bigger bushes than us were working on.
So now the engine really runs smooth and the gearbox is temporarily sealed, and now all we have to do is repair the alternator. Now only one question remains: does it drive? Well, off camera we did try, but to no avail. The Porsche does not drive. and we think it's because of the gearbox filter.
So today is a Sunday. We are going to go look for this so that we can try and see if we can get the Porsche Macan driving. Because yesterday we were able to get the car running. When we did get the car running, it did not sound the healthiest. However, we did sort all of that out. And once all of that was sorted out, we discovered that it might not be driving because of this, and it doesn't have an oil filter. So we'll just plug that in and then see how goes it.
We headed out to a parts store. Keep in mind, it's a Sunday and places are closed, so finding the specific part won't be easy. We headed out to the nearest spare shop that we could find, and we were greeted by a very long line, and we were left with some bad news. So, keeping our heads high, we headed to the next one. But still, they didn't even have the part we were looking for. They even confused the part with the engine oil filter. We tried making a phone call before heading to the next parts store.
You'll do sell it. You'll do have, it's just that they don't have stock. I must go to Goldwagon Soweto. Okay, sure, they're open right now. Thank you.
And after driving another 30 minutes, we found out that they were closed.
Opens Monday, 8 a.m.
So unfortunately, finding a gearbox oil filter housing was a bust. So we'll just have to wait for Monday.
So today is a brand new day and we are on a mission to get this Porsche back on the road. So yesterday we did manage to get the cars running. However, we did notice that the car is not driving. So with the car not driving, we also saw that the car was missing an oil filter. So I'm only hoping that the oil filter missing, maybe there was too much or too less oil pressure in the gearbox because of a missing filter, which then it caused the gears to slip or whatever the case may be. So we did also run around on Sunday looking for the oil filter housing and the oil filter itself and did not find it. So I'm going to show you something that we got from our supplier today, which is a new oil filter housing because the old one was leaking. So we got a new oil filter housing, which is also something common that breaks because that's why they're selling it. So we got a new oil filter housing and a new oil filter. We also have a new alternator as well, because if you remember last time the old alternator was making a noise. We swapped it with another alternator just to see if the noise goes away. The noise went away, so that's why today we went and bought a new alternator and then also got some new gearbox oil. So we're going to be sorting all of that out and getting this car maybe back on the road.
And with Sia's help, we mounted the new alternator.
So the alternator is on now. Just finished putting it in. Now Sanders is gonna put on the last aircon pipe, and then we're gonna sort out the gearbox. See if it drives. So we got our fingers crossed with regards to the gearbox, because that's the one thing that is out of our professional scopes. The gearbox has got an issue. It needs professionals to code it. It needs a whole lot of stuff. Professionals to rebuild it as well, because we would replace it, but still after replacing, it's not plug and play. It has to be coded. So we're just only hoping that the filter was the cause of the gearbox fault. So we're also going to clear all of the gearbox faults and see if it drives. If it drives, yeah, that will be a very huge relief.
Since we've got Porsche oil or PDK fluid, we really hoped that this car would eventually move.
I attempted to put in our new oil filter housing cap that is not broken, and our new oil filter which has a seal which will help maintain the oil pressure and hopefully the car to drive. So we're just gonna pop this in quickly. We're gonna start with the filter because it's got a seal, and then it just like locks on. As you can see, you can't pull it out easy because it needs to clip in. So it's clipped in. That little white thing you see there, that's our filter. It's on. Now we're gonna put the housing to lock it in. And then the reason why these normally break is because people can't torque them like properly. You don't have to like
go to pound town when you're tightening this. Just like tighten it a little bit. Yeah, hand tight. And as soon as it stops, like, yeah, that's enough. Yeah. But now when you take it out, if you tighten it too much, it's gonna go boop, broken. Since we lost some oil, we're gonna top it up a little bit. Okay, so it looks like it's full for now. So we'll just start it, let it get to at least 50 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees, that's what they state. Let it get to 40 and then refill it again. So that's what we're gonna do. The gearbox is full. What we're gonna do now is drop the car. Try to attempt to drive it now with the oil filter and with the oil filter on and the oil filter housing that's not compromised on, and see if it drives. But before we do all of that, we're gonna just clear all of the faults on the gearbox. Yeah, hopefully it runs. So what are your predictions, since we just clearing all of the faults, and then will it drive?
Just praying it drives, bro. But it should drive.
Yeah, because this was like a running car.
Yeah.
I can only hope that maybe the issue was because of the oil filter. So I'm busy checking the diagnostics, and the faults that I'm getting here is insufficient oil pressure on the transmission. So putting in the filter might help us. So yeah, look at the faults. So we've been currently just running the Porsche so that it can get to 40 degrees internal temperature on the gearbox so that we can fill it up some more. So it's been idling and the car sounds so smooth. I want you guys to listen to the engine. So the engine sounds very smooth, no signs of smoking, everything seems very nice. So what you're gonna do is to top up the gearbox oil now while it's running, since it's at 40 degrees, and hopefully all of the gearbox faults will go away, because the main gearbox faults we were picking up was that the transmission fluid pressure was low. So I don't know if maybe they stole the transmission oil pump on the car, they put one that was faulty, or maybe it was just because of the filter. I'm crossing my hands to hope that it's just the filter. So we did fill up the oil again. We're gonna attempt to drive the car while it's on the floor. It doesn't want to drive on the ramp. Does some funny stuff. So just hoping, I don't know, it can drive. So I don't know. We'll see. Alright, so we're currently outside with the Porsche and it's doing some funny things. For one, the steering is locking. Number two, it seems as if the clutches on this gearbox are gone. So my the Porsche died while we were driving, and the battery died as well. We actually drove back to the workshop in reverse because first gear wasn't engaging. So I'm starting to think maybe we were given the wrong oil because we put DSG in the gearbox, and I think that this car's got a CVT, so it might take different gearbox oil. So we're just gonna try to go to Porsche and see which oil it takes, whether it's DSG, CVT, PDK, PLF, whatever, EFF, ANC. Right, so we just finished over here at Porsche, bought some oil, the most expensive oil I've ever bought in my life, and it takes PDK fluid. So when I was doing my research as well, I did notice them saying PDK wara wara, but when we went to our supplier, they gave us DSG. So I hope and I pray maybe like the damage is not too much on the gearbox. We can just drain the old DSG from there and then put in this PDK fluid, because it's also green. DSG is like golden brown oil. So we'll see. Hey, now right now we're just like crossing our fingers, because fixing a gearbox on that thing, baba. Don't crucify us too much in the comments. We put wrong oil in this Porsche. We can only hope that we didn't damage the box. So we first flushing out all of the old oil, and then we're going to then see how goes it afterwards. So you're just gonna put new oil, flush it, drain it again, and then put the correct one that cost 700 trillion at Porsche. Right, so we are done draining the oil that we're using to flush with, and we're just going to start the car so that it can throw all of the oil out of the torque converter and into the sump, and then we're going to drain it one last time and then put the correct oil from Porsche. Putting in the correct oil now. We've drained the last bit of the one we were using to flush, so we're using the expensive Porsche oil now. Hopefully it drives. First load is done. Gonna load it again because we filled it up and it didn't spew out, so we need to fill it up until it spews out. The new oil has been topped up. We're gonna run it. Once it gets to 40 degrees again, then we're gonna fill it up again. So yeah, but now we have to go through all of the gears as it's idling, just so that like everything gets bled properly. So as you can see right behind me, the Porsche Macan is officially running, but we've got an issue with the gearbox. Our first gear is just totally slipping. The car only drives properly in reverse. We've tried everything, the expensive Porsche oil, everything, but I do think here maybe the valve body on this car was stolen, and that's why the valve body bolts were loose when we were initially checking this car.
I bought this Porsche from GOBID as a water damaged SUV without even going to check it.
So the car just arrived. There it is over there. It looks super nice, super clean. I might have made the biggest mistake, or maybe the biggest luck. I didn't go check this car. I just read what GOBID wrote on the website as to what is wrong with the car.
This car was listed as a non-runner, and once we got our hands on this car, we found out that the engine was hydrolocked, meaning that the engine was seized and it could not turn. And the only way that we could get this engine running again is to strip it down and rebuild it. During the entire rebuild process, in the back of my mind, I always thought that there could be something wrong with the gearbox because of all of the suspicious signs we saw on the gearbox.
Yeah, this might be like really bad because we can fix this engine, car can start up, and then once we start up, we find that the gearbox is not driving because it's not coding, or they swapped out the gearbox.
However, I remained hopeful that this Porsche would be able to drive. With the help of my good old friend Sia, we rebuilt this engine in just 2 days. We didn't celebrate for too long though, because when we attempted to drive this Porsche Macan, all of our fears about the gearbox came to life. We tried everything in our mechanical skills to try and solve this problem ourselves, but we eventually decided to send the gearbox to gearbox specialists for repairs. Got the Porsche Macan towed to the gearbox specialists, and that's where the vehicle's gearbox was stripped down, and they saw that the clutches of the gearbox were also damaged because of the water. One thing to always note is that gearbox repairs are not the cheapest, and the gearbox repairs of this Porsche Macan was a very shocking amount, but at least they have sorted out the issue that we came in for, and our Porsche can finally drive again. However, there is another important issue that we have to sort out, and if it does not get fixed, this Porsche will not be safe to drive.
So a couple of days ago, we sent our PDK Porsche Macan gearbox for some repairs, and I just got a ring that the car is actually now ready, but they can't test the car because the steering keeps locking and just swinging all the way to the left hand side and sometimes to the right hand side, so they don't think it is safe to drive the car. So I also did experience that, and I thought it would go away when we test drove the car in reverse, because our car is only driving in reverse, né? So yeah, that's another problem at hand that we have, but they said that the gearbox is mnandi now. So what we need to do is pay for the repairs, big bucks might I add. So we need to pay the big bucks. After paying for the big bucks, we need to investigate and see what is causing our steering to just keep being faulty. But you must know, with these cars, it's got an electric steering rack, and it's the same one as the Audis and the Q5s, and the electronic steering rack is all the way to the bottom. So I'm guessing that what might have happened is water must have gotten into the steering rack, the electronic steering rack, and is causing all of these issues. So we might just put it on the ramp, see if we can clean and fix it. If we can, that will be a very good bonus. If we can't, we're looking at possibly spending another 70,000 Rand on this Porsche Macan just to get the steering rack sorted out. So once the steering rack is sorted out, we need to send it back for them to test it and be happy with the car. Let's take it for a quick spin. Even though they said you'll drive into the bush because the steering rack is not working. The steering wheel is really hard on this car.
Like it's got no power steering.
Yeah, like it's got no, excuse me, power steering. Feels like I'm driving a Golf 1. It's really hard. Yeah, no power steering here. I have to sort that out. I'm convinced Golf 1 drivers aren't human beings. They are bodybuilders. Because I cannot, my guy. Yeah, it's really bad. So next on the chopping block is the steering rack. We have to sort out the steering rack on this Porsche Macan. Yeah, sort this out. Yeah, this thing on the drive in a bush, boss. I'm not gonna test drive this car. I'll just park it here. Yeah, we'll just tow it back to the workshop and just get the steering rack sorted out so these guys can also finish off their job of test driving this car.
The Porsche Macan can now drive in first gear, a gear that we weren't getting before the gearbox repairs. However, the vehicle is still not safe to drive because we have to repair the steering rack.
The car's really nice, it's something else. So just look at it. I think this Porsche is gonna be my new daily. Comment down below, let me know what you think, until someone comes and buys it, because you guys don't like me to have nice things.
Now that the Porsche is here, we can try to fix it.
Alright, so the gearbox specialist asked us to fix the steering rack first so that they can test the car and adapt to the gearbox, since they put in new clutches and a whole bunch of new stuff. So first things first, we're going to disconnect this battery and then see what's actually going on in the bottom. I have repaired one before, and I'm hoping that I'm talking about the steering rack. I'm hoping that this one as well might be a simple fix like that one. Hopefully, if we do clean out the board on that steering rack, everything can come right. So let's keep our fingers crossed. So we're going to disconnect our negative, and then check out the box underneath. Let's see what Mother Nature has in store for us.
Before opening up the Porsche steering rack, I wanted to open up a similar steering rack from an Audi A4 to at least get an idea of what I'll have to do on the Porsche. The electronic steering rack helps you turn the vehicle's wheels very easily, just like a regular steering rack, but instead of using fluid, it uses an electric motor to make steering a lot much more easier.
I've got a second-hand steering rack, and I just wanted to see if the part numbers aren't the same
This one is from an Audi, but a really old Audi, so I guess maybe that's what could make it be the difference. So I just want to check the part numbers and everything. If the part numbers are good and the plugs look more or less the same, then we can use this module for our Porsche. But on this steering rack, when I had got it, it also came from a water damaged car. But that water damaged car, the power steering was working. However, they just had another whole different issue. So we're gonna see if this module is the same as that one. If it's the same, we'll try and put it on there, test out the car. If it works, yippee, we fixed this thing for free. But if it does not work, we might have to try and fix the one currently on the car, or we might have to fork out an additional 60,000 Rand and buy a new steering rack at Porsche themselves. So this is our old steering rack. We're just gonna unplug everything and then take things from there. I just hope that it works. So if that steering rack works on here, the module works on here, that will mean that will be the first like luck for us, I think. That will definitely be like the first luck for us. Yeah, on this car we haven't had like any luck whatsoever. So I'm really hoping for some good luck. Shame on this car. We really need it. We've spent some really serious bucks on it too, so I'd really love a good luck. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start by stripping the steering rack that's currently on the table itself and just get an idea of like what we're getting ourselves into and see how damaged this one is. Alright, so we're just gonna remove all 8 of these screws and see what funky business we see inside. Alright, so all of the bolts are out. The last time I did this was like in 5 years ago. 5 years ago on my white Audi. That was the first car I ever bought as a non-runner, and it had a bad had a bad steering rack as well. I only changed this module and the car was fine afterwards. So I don't know if how to take this out is still the same after all of these years. And the guys that probably know how to do this are probably like, oh, you're doing it wrong. Oh, just needed some power. Okay, this board looks quite clean. Yeah, it looks quite clean. So we're gonna take out the Porsche one and have a look at the Porsche one. But this one looks quite clean. And I can't see any traces of like water damage. Everything looks good. I can't see any burn marks on this board. Everything looks good. So let's remove the Porsche and see. This board might not work on this car because that board is actually a board coming from a 2009 Audi. So yeah, I really hope it works. I think 2009 is an exaggeration. I think it's probably like 2011 or something. Oh, that came out way too easy. All right, so let's inspect this one and see if it's got like any damage or what. So straight off the bat, I can't see any signs of damage on the board. I can't see any signs of like water that it came in, but we'll just do a further inspection and see. But so far everything looks good on this one, so I don't know why it's not working. Maybe this thing is the problem itself. So another thing worth noting, they're not the same. So if you look at over here, this one only has 1, 2, 3, 4 pins, and then this one has got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pins. So that one's got 4 pins, this one has 6 pins. So no way this might work there. So it definitely, this board definitely won't work on the Porsche. Okay, I can see one burn mark, but like there's no signs of water ingress. I don't know what's going on here, but one thing I know, The steering rack is cooked, and I'm going to try by all means to uncook it. We'll just clean this with some parts, electric parts cleaner, and then just take it from there and cross our fingers and hope for the best.
We spread a little bit of electric cleaner onto the board to try and clean out any debris that could cause the steering rack not to work. Next, we had to put it back. We then tried to put the battery back on to see if our plan worked.
Alright, so it is smooth. Yeah, it locks. So now it's locked, it won't turn. So our plan didn't work, our cleaning didn't work. This thing is cooked. We need to send it to other professionals or get it replaced. Finish and clear. I eventually thought of just biting the bullet and buying the expensive steering rack. But then I noticed something odd on the reverse camera. So guys, I currently have a theory about this Porsche Macan. So as you saw, after we plugged in the steering rack, the steering got loose and then it jams when you turn to the right. So I did a diagnostics on this car, and these are the faults that I found. We've got a steering angle sensor fault. Now, where is the steering angle sensor? It is behind the steering wheel. It is also called the clock spring, okay? So it is also called the clock spring, and that is the only fault I am getting. And mind you, I am getting a passive fault, okay? So what is a passive fault? A passive fault is not a permanent fault, but it's a fault that you can erase, and then it'll eventually come back again if the issue is there and it is persisting. So I took it a step further and I just looked at the car properly now. So beating on the steering rack, that didn't help. Cleaning it, that didn't help. So guys, let me show you this. I'll start the car now. So car is currently on, and then we're gonna put it in reverse now. Okay, so Shokat, look at my wheels, tell me if they're straight or not. Yeah, they're straight. Well, the camera needs to see. Okay, come this side. Right, so as you can see, the wheels are straight, but if we look at the cluster over here, cluster says that the wheels are turning this side. So if I turn one revolution this side, it actually says it is now straight. Look, so it says that now it's straight. So if I put the wheels straight, it says that we are now, the wheels are facing this side. So that means that either the steering angle sensor, there's something wrong with it, or they must have put the steering rack the wrong side. So one, it's probably like one revolution off. So we're gonna try and make it like one revolution proper, basically, to see if it comes right. But now the tricky part is I don't know what's off, the steering rack or the steering itself. Right now the wheels are faced this side. I can possibly remove the knuckle and then make the wheel straight, and then maybe it might come right. I can only hope. So let's try that and see.
It's a long shot, but it could actually be the cause of the steering issue.
When you look at the wheel on this side, the wheel, like right now, it's like it's full swung. It doesn't want to go any further. All right. And then I want you to go look at the left hand side, how much the wheel is able to turn on the left hand side. The wheel on that side is now fully swung, and you can see that the wheel is able to turn like much more that side as compared to the right hand side, which means that it is maybe like one revolution off on the right hand side. When the wheel is like currently like so, like this, it says that it says on the car that the car is currently straight, which means that we can put it straight, and we need to maybe turn the steering wheel one revolution that way. Turn the steering wheel one revolution that way, because it locks too quick on the right hand side. So we're going to give that a try and see how goes it. What we need to do is to turn the steering only 1 revolution this side, so that it says that it is straight, because if we turn 1 revolution this side and our wheels are faced this side, it says that the steering is straight. So we're only going to turn the steering once, the steering column once this side, and then see what it does inside. Show you a cheat while I'm at it. You can actually use a normal 8mm to take out a T10. So yeah, that's a cheat code you learned today. So I'm just going to turn it 1 revolution. 1 revolution. That side. Either the steering angle sensor can snap or this car can come right. So I'll not only need a steering rack possibly, but I'll need a steering rack and a steering angle sensor. If we are right, is if we start the car, and when we start the car, we put it in reverse, it automatically says it's straight. Because last time, when the wheels were straight like this, and we had it in reverse, it was saying that it was faced this side. So now if we put it in reverse, and it says that it's straight, it says Mambo, I'm straight, then that means we've possibly sorted one thing out. So I'm also hoping that that is the thing that was causing the steering to lock, meaning that we don't need a steering rack, because I did say that on the module itself, it's got some really good insulation. I didn't see any signs of water ingress. So we can just only cross our fingers and just have a look now. All right, so I'm currently in the Porsche Macan, and we just finished off doing everything. So we're gonna see when we switch it on, does it say are the wheels straight or not? So we're gonna put it into reverse like that, and look at that, it says that the car is straight on the screen. It says on the screen that the car is straight. So we're gonna see right now how much we can actually full swing this way, but if anything gets tight, I'm just gonna stop because I might snap something. So the wheels are also straight outside, so that means we might actually have progress. Okay. So we just switched on the car, have it in reverse, and if you look there, the wheels, it says that the car is straight. So currently my steering wheel is straight and the wheels outside as well are straight, which means that we might have sorted out one issue on this car. So we're just gonna start up the car and try and do full swings on both sides and see what happens. Okay, let's put it in park. Alright, so we're gonna first swing it on the right hand side in reverse. Excuse me. Gosh. I don't think my plan worked. Alright, I don't think this plan worked. See now, if I turn to the right, to the left, it goes this way. Oh, it's supposed to do that, I don't know. Yeah, because actually if I turn this way, I'm actually gonna go to the left, to the right. Okay, let's just full swing and test this thing.
Did my fix actually just work? There's only one way to find out. Let's go for a quick test drive.
Alright, so we're going on our first test drive with the car since we fixed the whole steering thing. So mind you, this car still has to go for adaptation. They couldn't test the car because it they couldn't drive the car basically. So you remember last time, like, we had to switch off the car just to keep turning. Right now the steering wheel is like good. So I think we might have just fixed this car. Do you think it was the hammer or this thing that I just discovered now? Not the hammer. Yeah. So technicians 1, mechanic 0. So hammer mechanic 0, technicians 1. So I think on this build it helped us to be technical. So the technical side
of me helped diagnose and fix this issue. So I'm really ecstatic about that. We don't have to spend 60 grand on a steering rack. I really thought it was a steering rack. Last time we couldn't drive this car this long. Like the steering would just lock. And I think it's like a safety feature, I guess. So right now we're good. And all of the gears are like changing nicely. It's just that it has to be adapted just so that when you put reverse, you don't get that thunk. And last time when we do like a full circle here, that's where this car would like jam, the steering wheel would jam. So right now we're just gonna do like a donut, a full swing, and then just turn in the full swing and see. This car is fixed, boy. This car is fixed. All right, so we have sorted out the steering rack issue on this Porsche Macan. Dango! So now we need to send it for adaptations, and then we are officially done with this car. I am over the moon. I think this is the first good thing that has ever happened on this Porsche. Like, we've had some really big ups and downs, paying for the gearbox, big money, engine repair as well, which was a lot of hours and a lot of labor time. And right now I just fixed the steering rack issue free of charge. Let me know what you think in the comments.
And will you look at that? Our cheap fix just worked, and we managed to save a whopping 70,000 Rand. With the steering rack sorted out now, we can now actually drive the vehicle to the gearbox specialist to get the gearbox adapted successfully. But we can't drive this car on the road without any number plates. So before we head out, let's get these number plates quickly fitted on. With the number plates fitted on the Porsche, we can now legally drive this car on National Road. With the plates successfully mounted, we could now drive this car to the gearbox specialist. However, we encountered another problem.
Steering just got hard again.
It's gonna lock.
I don't know. Yeah, there it is. It's locked now. How's the wheel?
It's straight. The wheel is straight.
We drove the car yesterday and
Yeah, it was fine.
maybe we need to clear the fault because it had a steering angle fault. Let's try and do that and see what happens.
We got the car back into the workshop to figure out why the steering wheel was still locking. Plugged in the diagnostics machine and also checked other areas underneath the vehicle, and we figured it out.
So this plug here is broken off, and I think this is why we're getting a four-wheel drive fault and some of the other faults. So with this being broken off, we can't put on this plug properly. So I'm just gonna try put this on properly and then just take things from there. So literally the module underneath the car was not plugged in. So the one that I just showed you guys, it wasn't plugged in, it was just like hanging around. So I put it in, clipped it in. So now we're gonna see if we can clear the faults now.
Does the steering still feel heavy?
No, the steering is smooth. It's just like very intermittently that it will get hot. Before, it would like get hard immediately, you know. So I do think that maybe it just needs some recalibration for it to be like 100% good. This car is a big stress. But right now everything is good. Steering wheel is behaving. There's no more beeping from the PDCs. That was because of the number plate. But I think that the steering wheel does need to be calibrated somehow, because I'm not happy with what I see on the screen when I'm reversing and turning left or turning right. It just points at its own direction. What I'm happy about is the fact that when I got the steering at 0 degrees and it's center, it also says it's centered there. It's just that when I turn left, it goes right, and when I turn right, it goes left. So that's the only thing I think to fix at the moment. Right, so far the drive is good. I want to put it in park, and then see what happens. One thing I've noticed though, when I get the car in like R, it doesn't ride on the cluster. So I guess that's something that also has to be looked at. Doesn't have power though.
But you feel like it should be faster.
Well, I can't feel the boost, is what I mean. I think we need to check if the turbo opens when we get back to the workshop. I can't feel any boost. There's like absolutely no boost. Okay. Yes. I don't think this is enough boost. Or maybe these things are slow. I'm not getting 5th gear. There's no 5th gear. It ends at 4th gear. So that's something we need to raise with these guys. So you're getting 1st gear, 3rd gear, and also my Tiptronic seems to not be working. Yeah, oh, this is not working. The only thing that will cause this not to work is it's the clock spring inside. So I do now think that it could be faulty. Yeah, I think our clock spring is definitely faulty. Paddle shifters aren't working. Only the gears working, so I think we'll have to get the steering angle sensor replaced, but we're not getting a 5th gear as well. Yeah, let's get it adapted and then take it to Porsche, see what they say. But I think also let's try and challenge ourselves and sort out as much as we can on the car, and take it from there.
We left the Porsche at the gearbox specialist to get the gearbox successfully adapted, and in a couple of days the Porsche was now drivable.
So we're currently on the drive with the Porsche Macan 2-liter all-wheel drive. Since it came back from the gearbox place, they did a stellar job. The vehicle's not jerking now when we're taking off or when we reach a stop sign. Everything is good and everything is very smooth. So right now, yeah, I think we're gonna take it on the freeway and then just feel it out and then see how it drives. But so far I'm happy. I'd say so far so good. Yeah, I think everything is nice on the Porsche. Everything is driving perfectly well. Even our steering, our temporary solution did allow us to have good power steering, and it allowed the guys from the gearbox place to be able to test the car and be happy with the car and overall drive it. But now we're going to have to do a proper fix and not a temporary fix. So we're going to be doing a permanent fix now for our steering angle sensor. The Porsche Macan is officially back from the gearbox place. They said they knocked it out of the park and made sure that they adapted the gearbox correctly. So we're going to give this car a test drive and actually see if they did knock it out the park or they threw it in the bin. I'm not one for gearbox repairs. I always even advise my clients just get another gearbox as opposed to getting it fixed. So we're going to see right now if the guys did a good job, but I've got absolute faith in the team. It was a very expensive build and I'm expecting it to be proper. All right, let's go see. So I'm currently driving the Porsche and this is a magnificent drive. I'm on the highway right now and everything is just smooth from the steering wheel to the gearbox. So the gearbox definitely needed adaptations. Now we're not getting a very bad thunk when we're putting it into first gear. However, I do need to put in some aircon because I'm sweating. We lost all of our aircon gas when we removed the engine, so that's definitely something that we'll have to sort out. Otherwise, the drive is very nice. I do think that what we'll have to do is to get the steering wheel calibrated. So the steering wheel and the steering angle sensor will have to get them calibrated
just so that the fault that we have on the dash for the traction control line can go away for good.
Saying that this Porsche Macan drives smoothly is an understatement. I now understand why these vehicles are so desired in the SUV market. I even had some fun and started using this car as a daily.
Until...
So I think I might have made the YouTube gods angry. Why, you may ask? So I've been using the Porsche like for the past, I think, 2 weeks or a week, if I'm not exaggerating, and I've been enjoying the car ever since we geniusly found a temporary solution to fix the whole steering becoming hard issue. Then I found the car drivable. It's been a very nice and pleasant drive until when I was driving at night. I slashed two tires, and I think I might have buckled my 2 rims as well. So we're gonna go check on the rims right now to see, because I just got a call from the tire shop and they said that my rims are also like kaput. So yeah, we're gonna go check on those and see how goes it. But yeah, so I'm no more gonna use my cars before I post that the car is done, just like I did with the GCR, because the GCR I only started using it after I let you guys know. So you guys need to stop bewitching me. We got some black magic magicians here. So yeah, let's go check the rims and let's go see how bad it is. So there's a blur, there's a puncture here, and when a tire is damaged on the sidewall, you can't patch it because the sidewall, it's not as strong as this side. Mind you that these tires are also like brand new, so I messed up like new tires. So this is the first one, and then the second one as well, damaged here. Also this one, brand new tire as well, brand new tire. So these tires as well are not the same sizes. So the back one is bigger and the front one is smaller. So gonna cost 700 trillion.
We still have another issue to address, and that's the alternator.
Alright, finally in the workshop, what we're actually going to start with is our alternator. So our alternator's got a whining noise, and just in case you don't know what our alternator currently sounds like, we're going to start the car for you before we strip it out, and that noise is quite annoying, so I want the car to be 100% sorted out. So we're going to get this alternator out, and today's going to be my first time trying to attempt to fix an alternator. So I do not know how it'll go, or this thing will explode in my face, but we're going to be trying to repair an alternator together. All right, so I don't want any Mr. Know-hows or Mr. Know Too Much saying, yeah, you should have done this. I just said it's my first time fixing an alternator. So that whining noise you just heard is the whine of the alternator. So we don't want that. We want the car to be absolutely silent. So the first thing we're going to do is to remove the alternator and try to get it repaired. But first things first, let's remove the battery. So first thing to remove is the aircon pipe. It's in the way. So once this is out of the way, then we can remove the belt, the drive belt that charges our alternator. So that one is normally held by, I think, a 16 socket. Let's see. But in this case, yeah, it's a 16. But in this case, we'll need a spanner because no space like here. If you are experienced like Mambo, ow, it should take you 5 seconds. 5 seconds and a couple of scratches here and there on your arms. As well, I'm always battling these engines, so I can call them battle scars. So yeah, every scar is a story. See here, I was burnt by a Ferrari 458. Can't even pronounce what that is. But yeah, I got burned by what is this thing? An exhaust manifold. So even this Porsche, I'm sure I've got some scratches from it. I'm gonna be a very cool grandpa. I'm not gonna be showing them pictures of cartoons on my arms, telling them stories about those cartoons. I'm gonna be like, you see, son, over here, this scar is from when I fixed the Golf 8, one of the first workshops in Africa to fix a Golf 8. I think tattoos are cool. I think I also would like to have one to honor my late father. You know, he was also a mechanic like me. Sometimes I fix things and I don't even know how I fixed it, and then I'm like, yeah, that dude is giving me wisdom from up above, you know. So he was a mechanic just like me, but I don't think in his wildest dream he would have thought his kid would be fixing Porsches. He was fixing tractors and lorries. More of a diesel mech. Hell of a businessman as well. See these techs, they must work like me 24 hours. And then they're gonna wake up. When they start their cars, they're gonna start one shot. Not this for 1 hour. And you need to be careful with these bolts because they're aluminum. So these are the 4 bolts. This is our alternator that we're gonna attempt to fix. Very hot. So if you listen, you can hear how rough it is. Should be quiet. So we're gonna attempt to fix this nonsense together. My research has shown me that the first thing that I have to remove is this cover. Once this cover is out, there's something else I must remove inside. Remove the pulley, remove the cover. There's 2 bearings, one in the bottom, one in the top. So for now, we don't know which one is faulty. So we're just gonna strip and assess. If I can't fix it, I can't fix it. I'm not a magician. We'll just keep it moving. Spend 80 grand on our alternator. I'm joking, it's probably like 20,000 or something.
It's still a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, you can actually hear it. Very rowdy. Can't impress anybody with a Porsche that's got a rowdy bearing. You know? So first things first, we're gonna try and pry this out because I can't see any bolts. So we'll try and pry it out section by section. If something cracks, I don't know. I really don't know what I'm doing here. We'll break it and buy a new one. That's gonna be our motto when we're fixing stuff we don't know. We'll break it and buy a new one. Fixing cars is fairly easy. It's just all about trial and error and learning before you, just doing your research and training before you attempt to do anything. So this is out, not held by any bolts. It's just held by clips that you just, this looks very complicated. Okay, this looks very complicated. This is probably called our regulator. We're gonna remove this first, and then after our regulator is removed, then we can start removing the casing. So what seems to be our regulator, or the brushes, well, I do not know what this is. Please don't come Add me at the comments. I'm gonna do my research when I'm done here. I'm gonna tell you what it is that is out. What's important is that I'll fix this thing. I don't know the names, but I'll fix it. And in my workshop, we don't fix alternators. We just send to auto electricians for our clients just to make sure that everything is good. I only take risks and learn stuff on my cars. That's basically how I learned how to fix cars, through my project cars and stuff. So that's what I do. I don't take risks on people's cars. Taking risks on people's lives on cars is equivalent to taking risks on people's lives, you know. So if this doesn't work or I break down on the road, I only have to be angry at myself, not some mechanic that was taking a chance. I think I'm supposed to lift it from that middle. So dumb. Why would you do that? So stupid, man. To remove this wheel, you have to put this on a vise and hold it, or have a counter hold tool to hold it in place. But I'm gonna try and do it by myself. If I can't, then we'll use a water pump pliers. So this is out now. Now we're just gonna feel which bearing is bad. There's two bearings. So there's one bearing behind this pulley, and then there's another one right here in the back. And the one in the back like feels very smooth. It feels really smooth. Let's put this one side. So this is the back bearing. It feels very, very smooth. Yeah, I think our faulty bearing is probably like the one in the front. See? Yeah. So as you can hear how rough that is, it's because that's the bad one. But now in order for us to get to that bearing, this needs to come out first. And I can't take it out because I need the special tool for this. Yeah, so we need a special tool that goes in here, and then you can take it out. This is a special tool that we need for the alternator to remove this pulley. So this one goes in first. I think I'm gonna give it a nice tap first, just to make sure that it's in properly. So I had already bought this because I was anticipating to fix this alternator. So you hold this one for me, this one, and I'm gonna try and loosen this one anti-clockwise. Holding.
About this tight, this thing.
So what must happen? You ate putsu today? No, whole day. Gonna come right. How are we gonna take this thing out now? It needs to come out, Baba.
I'll be put it on the floor.
Let me get another one. Loose. So now why you were crying?
I was trying that this thing is tight.
It's not tight, but we must eat pap. What you wanna eat?
Pap.
Yeah. A chow pap gonna be strong. And when you start your cars there in the back, they're gonna start same time, because you eat pap. I am guessing it's just this one here. That is, yeah, it is this one. So there's another bearing in here, which is the culprit. Hopefully I know where everything goes. So this is our faulty bearing. It's very rough. So I don't know if I can get this at our favorite store that sells VW parts. Goldwagen. Das Auto, Das Auto. I don't know what these parts are called. All I know, the alternator is for charging. That's how you learn in this trade. You have to challenge yourself. You have to be willing to learn. Most YouTubers that work on cars aren't mechanics by profession. They're just fixing cars because they love to. And they're learning along the way. And that's how you learn. You're not going to learn nothing from school, from training school. It's all up to you.
If you're dedicated and you want to put in the work, then you're going to learn something for nothing. Now we have to get to this bearing. To get to this bearing, we have to remove this case first. Just remove the case that's held in by 4 bolts. We can make a plan and just steal one from like a, or even just take the whole casing from a Golf 7. We're gonna gently press this bearing out. Gently. So you can also do this with a bearing press. But right now, I'm just gonna press it gently. Every mechanic's favorite tool. See, gently pressed it out. So we've got 2 bearings here. Our old rowdy bearing, this one, and our brand new second-hand bearing came out from an old alternator at the workshop that we had changed months ago. So I'm gonna put this one. It's easy to take out the alternator. If it's got a problem, I'll do it again. Right, so now we're not gonna hammer it in. We're just gonna like press it in.
So I'm not actually supposed to record, but you can see Mambo's doing some shady stuff over there. Yeah, he's doing shady stuff.
Right guys, back from the shop. I was pressing this in with the bearing presser. It's in now. Very smooth, very nice. We work very professionally here. We do things the right way. And yeah, but I'm gonna give you a little tip. You can also use a hammer if you like. If you're a push mechanic and you don't have a very expensive press, like in my shop, it will be sharp. Okay. Why recording? Because I don't want them to see me beating this thing. I said I'm gonna press it in and you're recording. Huh? Making me look like a push mechanic now. If I've learned anything about cars in the past years, all of the sketchy repairs that you do on the car are the ones that last you the longest, and the ones that you're 100% certain that you did a good graph. Ow. Next week that car is coming back, that customer is coming to fight with you. But the sketchy repairs, they're the ones that normally like hold up. See? Where you saw someone fixing a Porsche with the pink scissors. Only at Mambo's, baby. See? It's on now. It's covered. Yeah. Now we're just gonna apply a little bit of siliconator to make sure that it's sitting, it sits good forever. We can now put on this bad boy, but before we put this on, I want to ensure that the casing is in the right way. So yeah, we're gonna just measure this onto the car and then see if everything is good. Give it some higher for extra repair strength. And then we're gonna put back the dust cover on this side. Hammer is a mechanic's best friend. See, it's in now. Give it a higher as well. Put it on the car. Call it a day. Right, belt is on. We're gonna start this car up and hear what the alternator sounds like for the first time with our brand new second-hand bearing. So everything is on now. We're gonna attempt to start the car. My tech is in the car that's been helping me. Panache has been some great help. One of my good techs over here at the workshop. VW, Audi, Mercedes, everything. Yeah, so he's gonna start the car up and then we're just gonna listen to see if there's no whining noise. Right, start it up. No battery. Wait, need to put on the battery. Seems pretty quiet to me. So it's sorted out for free $99. So we sorted out the alternator for free, just labor. Uncle, now you can't barely hear the Porsche Macan when it's idling. So you've sorted out the alternator. Now we're going to move on to the steering angle sensor nonsense issue that we have on the car. So we're going to get that sorted out, and then hopefully it can also be, okay, that's not going to be an easy fix because it involves some programming, some calibrations, and all of that stuff from above. All right, let me know down in the comments if you'd like to know where I got these gloves from. Very durable, and they get the job done.
We got the alternator fixed, the steering issue fixed, and the gearbox repaired. And during that process, we saved thousands of rands and learned so much in the process. This has definitely been one of my most challenging rebuilds so far. Coming out of my comfort zone and learning things that I have never done before. Just because our Porsche Macan now drives beautifully, that doesn't mean that we are off the hook. The clock spring still needs to be replaced in order for us to get all of the steering wheel functions.
And just like that, guys, the Porsche is done. The gearbox is good. I've been driving this car from slashed wheels to a roller coaster of emotions. This car has been pleasant to rebuild nonetheless. So our gearbox is sorted out. Our steering wheel is also sorted out. And we managed to save a lot of money over there. And our alternator as well. Most importantly, we're no more getting that whining noise. So everything has been ticked off.
I wasn't happy with that guy's offer. Honestly, I don't think he knew what he was talking about.
Bummer. Big bummer. What did they say in there?
What? The offer that I just got now, happy with it. I think everybody should also buy their sell their cars there. Behind me is my Porsche, one of the cheapest Porsches that you could find in South Africa.
I bought it from GOBID as a non-runner for more than half of its retail price, and it was listed as a water-damaged vehicle. The damage caused by the water was so severe that the engine could not turn.
Wait!
That's all water.
Yeah.
It's water.
It's not supposed to be there.
No.
So we removed the engine and got it repaired in less than 24 hours.
This is what you wanted.
But even though we got the engine running, the car could not drive. And the reason why it was not driving was absolutely shocking.
We've got an issue with the gearbox. Our first gear is just totally slipping.
Eventually, we got the Porsche running and driving, but there were still a little more issues that we had to address because I now have to sell this Porsche Macan.
What?
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
It is time to finally let go of my Porsche. Later in this video, you will find out
some of the faults that are left on the Porsche is the traction control light, a PSM fault, an engine light, and it for some reason says limited support on the steering wheel. So all of those faults will definitely affect the selling price of this vehicle. So for us to get the best buck for this Porsche Macan, we have to make sure that this car is in mint condition with no faults, of course.
Ever since I rebuilt this Porsche Macan, it's been driving just fine. However, there are some faults that I did not repair on this Porsche Macan. Some of the things that did not work was the hooter, the cruise control, as well as the steering wheel button. And most of those things did not work because of a defective clock spring. So today we'll be repairing these issues by simply replacing the clock spring and recalibrating the steering wheel in order for everything to just work 100%. This Porsche needs to be in 100% working order since we will be selling it. The new owner deserves a fully functional vehicle. Let's get it done.
Now that we got the car here in the workshop, one thing we have to do, if you're going to be messing around with your clock spring, the one thing you have to do is to disconnect the battery first so that the airbags don't dollar you right across the face.
You push really hard and...
So we're going to disconnect the battery. And also, on the last video when we were fixing this Porsche Macan, we tried to make this car drivable by turning the steering rack this way and basically setting it off its zero.
So now we're gonna have to turn it back just so that our new clock spring doesn't bust as well, because that costed an arm and a leg from Porsche. We bought a brand new clock spring from Porsche because we couldn't get it from our normal suppliers.
In the last video, we made some adjustments to the steering rack so that the steering rack wouldn't keep locking.
Right, so before we zero the steering rack, it's very important to make sure that the steering itself is straight. Since last time we said 1 revolution this side, we're gonna say 1 revolution the other side now. So get this car checked up and let's zero the steering rack again. I've never installed a clock spring on a VW, Audi or Porsche before. I normally just send it to VW, they do it themselves, because I was under the impression that you have to code the clock spring. But after doing some research, they told me that you can just install it, and all you do is initialize it. There's no online programming, and we're actually gonna see all together if it can be done. This clock spring that I got currently for the Porsche, I think it costed me about 8,000 rand. So if I do a mess up here, that's going to be a really expensive mistake. Number 1. Number 2, I had to wait 2 weeks, if not 3 weeks, for the sensor itself. So again, if I do a mess up, it's going to be a really expensive mess up. If you told me I'd be making YouTube videos, oh man, I would have punched you in the stomach. One thing life has taught me is that you can have plans for your life, work towards your goals, but life itself always has the final say where you're gonna end up. So just try put in the work. At least wherever you end up where you'll be happy about that particular place you ended up. Right, cool. We're gonna be figuring this all out together. Hopefully removing the clock spring on this as well is not like a big train smash, like a whole big job, you know. So I really hope for that.
Now, what is a clock spring and how does it work? Many of you guys may know what it is, but for those of you that don't, the vehicle clock spring is also known as a spiral cable. It is a crucial part of your vehicle's steering wheel assembly, especially for vehicles with airbag systems and steering wheel controls. The clock spring's main objective is to maintain a continuous electrical connection between the steering wheel and the vehicle's electronics. As you steer, the clock spring twists safely without breaking the connection. If your clock spring is damaged, you might notice that the airbag light will stay on, your hooter will not work, and the steering wheel buttons will not respond. And that is why our steering controls do not work currently.
There is a spring here in a tiny on this housing that you press, just like the Polos if you're doing like a steering shaft replacement, that you the easy side now, get it pressed in. Yes, so if you press both of the springs, it pops out on one side and then pop it out on the other side as well. Once that is out, you have to disconnect your airbag. So let's get the airbag disconnected. All right, cool. That's the airbag. In case you ever wondered what an airbag is, it is tightly squeezed in this thing. So this is your airbag. This is what deploys if you are in an accident. Right, yo, let's continue. Next thing to do now is to remove the steering itself. So next thing to do is to remove this. In order for us to remove this, we have to first disconnect the ground wires that are inside this steering. So these are the earth. There's one earth here, another earth there. So here's another one here. We're gonna push it out. All you do is push it out as I just did. So there it is. Right, so that's out. That's our earth. It looks like there's actually 3. So there's another blue one as well. So the blue one is in the middle right there. So we just pull that out. Right, done. Next, we need to get a special tool to take out this bolt so this can just come out. Let's get that done. In order to remove the only bolt that holds the steering, we'll be using a T55. So you just put it in there and then you just basically take it out. So it helps as well if you can get someone to hold the steering for you if it's not locked, because if it's not locked it makes it quite hard to bust the nut. See, only one bolt holds your steering wheel, and it's got Loctite. So this blue condiment that you see here is your Loctite. Before you remove it, just always make sure your steering is straight, and then all you have to do is pull it straight back out. Yeah. Alright, it looks like we have to also take out the plug that clicks onto the clock spring itself. So this is our clock spring, that's what we're after. So we'll try and get that done. Now we're gonna have to pop these covers out, probably out by a T30 somewhere. Cool. Alright, so top covers out, looks like it just pops out. Once that's out, all we have to do now, take out the two torque screws here. So we use a T20 to remove the bolt that's underneath. So as you can see here, this cover is about to just simply fall off after I remove this last screw. There we go. So that's the last screw there, and then this can just simply just sag, you know. It sags because the wiring is holding on to it, so it's not bothering me, so it shouldn't bother you as well. Right, let's move on. And this is our new clock spring. So how it comes locked just so that you don't lose the timing of it, in essence. So it looks like it sits like so. Oh no, just clips. So it's just only clips that hold it now. Alright, cool. So it's got two clips at the top and then one screw in the bottom, and that's how you take out your clock spring. Let's try and get the other one installed now, the new one. So the other one, all you have to do is just push it on. It should just click onto the other places where it should. So just push it in gently. Alright. That was the sound of the clicking, basically. Right, click it there. Click it there as well. Now we're good. Now we also only need to put back the screw. Listen to this. Ooh, that's mechanic ASMR. Another one. Ooh, listen again. Yes, yes, Porsche. All right, once that's done, we can put the cover back basically and close up the car. The next step, we're going to need a diagnostics machine to try and initialize. Now I can put our steering wheel on. You put it back in on the angle that you took it out in. So on this one there is a tiny mark on the steering wheel. Okay, plug in there. Let's start with plugging in everything. Now I'm going to plug in the earths like so. Another one there on your left. Alright, that's tight now. Alright, cool. Very tired now. Big job I'm doing here. So last plugs to put in is for the airbag. So the airbag is actually color coded on this thing on the steering wheel, so you can't mess this up unless you're a camera guy.
push it in. There we go. Put it straight back up. Now to put this airbag on, all you have to do is just push it back in and it clips. There we go. It is on now. So now what we're gonna need is to plug the battery back in, and then we're gonna have to initialize the clock spring. Hopefully all of the buttons and the hooter itself works. So yeah, let's get that done. The battery is on. Let's switch the car on and see if the hooter works first. It looks like all of the buttons are now working on the steering wheel. Yeah, but we still have steering support limited, drive with caution. Let's see if the airbag light is still on. Well, airbag light is still on, traction light is still on. I think we need to clear all of the faults, basically take it from there. But I'm happy for now because at least all of these are working. I was whistling at people if someone wasn't moving out of the way. We're like, yeah, get out of the road. So at least now we got motion. What I'll do for now first is diagnose the car. After diagnosing the car, what I'll do is clear all of the faults that we have and then start programming the car. Because most of the time you can't program if there are faults on the car itself. So we're gonna clear everything. Once everything is cleared, then we start coding. Got a couple of faults, so clearing all of the faults now, and then we're gonna start coding. All right, so we just cleared everything. So now we've got a couple of faults that are left. Engine control module, ECM. Check coding of the control unit's powertrain. PSM unit fault memory content. All right. Steering angle sensor not calibrated. So we need to first calibrate the steering angle sensor. We also need to check the coding on the ECM that I know nothing about. I think that could be the cause of that intermittent PSM fault that we have here. So let's start with what I know we can do. All right. Not too familiar with launch. I was more of an Autel guy. I've been using Autel for close to 8 years. In order to code, we need to come to reset. So you come to reset, and then you got all of the options: brake reset, oil reset, SAS reset. That's what we need. SAS stands for steering angle assist reset. So that's what we're gonna go for. So necessary precautions: ignition on, not running, supply voltage between 9 and 15 volts, steering angle sensor free of fault, steering angle sensor initialized to do this, turn the steering wheel at least plus or minus 6 degrees and then back ahead, vehicle identification number okay, vehicle stationary during entire process, steering angle sensor calibration max plus or minus 5 degrees from mechanical 0 point. Subsequent work: after calibrating the steering angle sensor, reteach electric limit stops in the power steering control unit. Sure, let me take a picture of this because I'll forget all this. I'm a slow learner. So press OK. So supply voltage between 9, okay. Steering angle sensor initialized, okay. Steering angle sensor initialized successfully, not okay. We do this and then we take it back to 0. I don't know. That's what it said. 6 degrees is like literally like that's more. So let's press OK again. All right. So we literally had to just turn the steering wheel this way, turn it this way for steering angle sensor initialized to be okay, because last time it said not okay. All right. So wow. Okay. So I've been paying agents to do something so simple all this time. Calibration performed successfully. Don't know if you guys can read that. Calibration performed successfully. It looks like we won. So let's start the car up and see something. All right. So the traction control light is still on, but the airbag light has gone off. So now we have to tackle all of the other faults that are remaining. We've got the engine control fault. We've got steering support limited. So now what I want to do is turn the steering wheel full this way and turn it full that way, just to see if the clock spring doesn't snap.
Right. Right. Turn it again. Right. If it didn't, is the wheel straight there? Alright, so now we need to see if the hooter is still working. If it's not working, that means we did something wrong, but it looks like it is right. Now let's check what's causing our traction control light not to go off. If I check online, most people are just showing me the clock spring, saying you have to change the clock spring. So we've already done that, so maybe we just need to drive the car now. I don't know, or we might have to send the car for coding. You know what, let's take it on a short test drive. Driving around the complex for now. Oh yes, the traction light just went off. All right, nice. So now we have got a couple of faults left. Engine control module, engine control fault. So now that engine control fault is because of the adaptive cruise control coding. And then we've got PSM is also part of, no, we only got the engine light, and we got steering support limited, drive with caution. So we need to just check that out. So we've got 2 faults left on the Porsche. Nice. Right. So also my paddle shifts didn't work because the clock spring was messed up. So we're just gonna go outside on a slightly bigger road and see if they now work. All right, we made some big progress on the Porsche. It's very nice. Right. So currently on gear 2. Try changing back to 1. Okay, I can't. I can on the gear. No, it's not working. Alright, so it's not working on the paddle shifts. Maybe it's also part and parcel of the coding. Okay. These are still working.
Music to make you feel
okay. These are still working, which is good. But
this one
hoot is working, so our paddle shifts are not working. Okay, cool. So that means that we've got another issue that we need to resolve here, but it could also still be part and parcel of. We only have got the engine control fault only now. Oh, nice. Okay, so steering support fault is done, sorted out. So we literally only have got one fault, and that is to relearn the adaptive cruise control. The steering support fault is gone. So twisting and holding for 7 seconds, that helps. So if you've got a steering support fault on your Porsche, just do this and it's gonna be fixed. Wow, okay. This is so cool. Check this out. Check, now this thing bends to the side that we are going.
It's proper now, it's fixed.
Check that out. Yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool. Alright, I only have got one fault on my Porsche now, literally one fault, which is the engine control fault. That has to do with the adaptive cruise control. So my cruise control actually doesn't work. It's not coming on. I'm not getting that light here. So yeah, I think the adaptive cruise control does need to be coded. So yeah. The car actually feels more responsive now. Actually, more powerful. Yeah, actually it does feel more powerful. Take it back to the shop, read the faults, try to clear the faults again. So it looks like the only fault we have left is adaptive cruise control. So that we might have to end up sending maybe to one of our back specialists, or maybe just send to Porsche themselves. But yeah, wow, big progress.
Big progress. This is so cool. I didn't know. You can get like a whole map on this small screen here. That is so cool. That is super cool. All of the faults are good. No faults everywhere. The only fault we have is check control unit power. Coding. The ECM coding for the adaptive cruise control. That's the only fault we have left on this Porsche Macan. So we need to get the adaptive cruise control coded on this car, or read land or taught. Unfortunately, my machine doesn't do that, so we'll have to figure something out about that. Alright, so on our Porsche, as I had said, there's only one fault that is left. That is the engine control light. Let me show you quickly. So that is the only fault that's left there. Engine control fault. Consult dealer. Driving permitted. Alright, so what we actually need to do is code the adaptive cruise control. Once that is coded, boom bang, no more faults on the Porsche Macan. So yeah, it's been a nice drive as well on it since we've got the clock spring replaced. I do feel as if the car was on some sort of limp mode because of that, and a lot of functions were limited on the car itself. So let's go see if our friends can sort this out for us and maybe make some money on the Porsche Macan.
The only fault left is the cruise control, which we are going to fix by simply dropping off the vehicle at one of the specialists. Now it's time to get this baby cleaned up and vacuumed, because we are going to try and sell it today. The reason why I have to sell my Porsche Macan is mainly because we have to now create room for our new project car. I mainly want to keep the ball rolling and continuously challenge myself with all of these cars that I have never worked on. The main goal here is to keep the content fresh and also provide you guys with the best rebuilds, and we all learn together. Once we sell the Porsche, I think I should let you guys pick the next project. Comment down below, let me know what you think we should get next, or maybe what brand. So before we sell the Porsche, I need to do one last final inspection. I got the Porsche up on the ramp to ensure and do a safety check on the suspension, just to check for any rattles and squeaks. Everything is perfect. Now let's break down the cost of the repair of this Porsche Macan. I bought this Porsche Macan from GOBID for just under 420,000 Rand. Towing costed us 2,100. The gearbox repair costed us a nasty 53,000 Rand. Gearbox oil from Porsche costed us 6,000 Rand. And finally, the clock spring costed us a whopping 6,850 Rand. The engine rebuild parts costed us about 11,000 Rand, bringing our estimated total to about 500,000 Rand. A Porsche Macan that is the same year model as our one and got the same mileage is currently listed between 700,000 and 800,000 Rand. And you would think getting 600,000 Rand for this Porsche Macan would be easy, considering that there's a lot of room for profit for the buyer. Well, later on you'll see why it wasn't as easy as we thought.
Right, so right now we're on our way to, and we're gonna attempt to sell this 2019 Porsche Macan to We Buy Cars. For one, the car is in clean condition. It's got PPF all around. That's number one. Number two, the mileage is very low, about 82,000 on the clock. So yeah, let's head on over. Let's see what offer we get.
Bummer. Big bummer.
Well,
what did they say in there?
I'll have to watch the next episode to find out.
Since you've made it this far into the video, please make sure to leave a comment, like and subscribe. As always, thank you for watching, and remember, don't hate, congratulate.
Here's how you can win this Maserati Gran Turismo for only 100 Rand. Search www.helpingmzansi.org or click the link in the description. Once you're on the home page, select giveaway. Then select enter giveaway now. Then select by ticket. You may purchase as many tickets as you wish. The more entries, the more chances you have to win. Next, select checkout and then fill in all of the customer details required for you to purchase your tickets. Then select continue. Next, select place order and pay. You have the option to choose between Apple Pay, Google Pay or card payment. When that's completed, you will receive your order confirmation and your ticket number, including the invoice, via email. Ensure to input the correct email to avoid any complications.